Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There may be strong language and adult themes. Today is Blame It on the Large Hadron Collider Day. And I am not making this up. It was created in 2008. One of the concerns, shall we say, before they switched on the Large Hadron Collider was a conspiracy theory going on that it was going to randomly create miniature black holes all over the planet if they turned it on.
Well, that's true.
I vaguely remember being in high school and people spreading that like wildfire.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's not just nonsense. It's true.
That is the origin of today, is that everything that you have ever lost is because it created a miniature black hole in your home that sucked in your car keys, your credit card, and whatever else you can't seem to find.
My dignity.
I lost my debit card, and it just absolutely disappeared right out of my wallet. And I'm certain.
Who let the racist in here?
Give me a second. I can't hear anything.
So I know it to be true.
There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're good.
Who let the racist in here? Hi, Will.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I had to switch to my other computer because I'm spoiled and I'm editing on my new one.
Been a while. How goes it?
What's that?
I said, been a while. How goes it?
Consistent. How are you?
Frequently tired, and in about 5 minutes, I'm going to be high as a kite. If my lovely boyfriend would pass me my blunt and lighter.
Yeah, editing's got me ready to smoke myself.
Boy, there should be laws against people smoking online when other people can't.
So how long did you guys last on talking about the collider?
We haven't even started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this just went live.
Purple had all kinds of problems, and he was late, and
it's not loading on. It wasn't loading on YouTube either for a while.
And now he's just not talking to us.
Well, everything had to be recreated with new links.
Beautiful.
So I'm making a video that's Western theme, kind of.
Western theme, really?
Yeah, I made a. Whoa, that works now. I made a poncho. Oh, I gotta get my angle right. Sorry, it's been a while. I gotta put my keyboard back.
Well, giddy up.
So I made a poncho, and I was trying to do a tutorial on how to do it, like the easy sew poncho, without sewing, just with scissors. But I busted out my sewing machine because I love that thing. Everybody get a Husqvarna Viking. I'm gonna keep saying it until they sponsor me. There's one behind me, and I have another one in the other room. They're amazing. How
many sewing machines do you own in total?
About as many as computers as I own, like 12 or 13.
Don't you think that's a little much?
No, each sewing machine does something different. Like I have an embroidery machine. I have that is a 1959 Bel Air that's in the case back there. I just fixed that tiny Singer. That was number 12 or 13.
You have sergers, right?
Oh yeah. I have all kinds of stuff, and I've been updating a lot of my equipment though, because there's certain things that don't go out of style. Like my sewing machine from 1959, it still works. It just pulls an amazing amount of power. It's like a welding machine. So I have to plug it in.
May your electric bill rest in peace every time you use it.
I live in California, and it's summer. Like, no brag, just fact. My bill was $400 last month.
In summer? Holy fuck!
It's 100. It's 102 on average every day. Isaiah and I are here. We're here 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday. When he was in school, I noticed the difference of how much power we were not pulling. But all the kids are at home, and California is a mess. So I want my kid to be at home right now.
Well, I would think with a bill that high, you'd find a way to steal it from your neighbor.
Sometimes I feel like they're stealing it from me.
You know, speaking
Good
of
chance.
California, this recall election seems like it's getting a little buck wild.
Oh, it's not going to be like Gray Davis. When Gray Davis got recalled, we were all shocked because this man named Arnold Schwarzenegger won and bankrupted the state of California. Because that's what
As
the
is
Republicans do.
typical under Republican regimes.
Well, we're
That's
not.
what they do. They run us bankrupt and then blame us. It's
Yeah, but
classic gaslighting, victim blaming nonsense.
California,
Republicans are psychopaths.
California is not a conservative place. It's
That's
just
why
not.
it shocks me that, you know, that's why it shocks me that any Republican has any sort of popularity. I hear there's quite a bit of, what the hell was the guy's name that was a front runner? Larry
don't
Elder?
tell-
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how's it going?
Awesome. I'm taking a break from editing. I'm gonna be up all night now.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
in the
look.
side chat so far, we've got Doc Pearson and Crimson Fucker.
Hey, Doug.
So,
So we got more
yeah,
in
I'm
the show
afraid
than
that
in the
maybe
side
a lot of
chat.
people aren't aware yet that we changed the link.
Yeah, I thought.
We got
Awesome.
more people on the show than in the chat.
Ooh.
We're here, that's the
Subtle
main thing.
Exactly.
Hey, well, I watched your bell bottom video, and I had to comment on it. I absolutely adore it. Your enthusiasm for them is just.
Oh, I fell in love. Oh, I fell in love. I wear them every weekend now. It's hilarious.
It's genuinely cute.
Well, my mother dragged my father out of the 70s. She cut the bottoms off the bell bottoms.
That was
He
like
was so pissed.
my mom kind of did the same thing with my dad. He had like I'd call him like I don't know by today's standards they're indecent, but I'd call him his banana smuggling shorts. He would wear these like 1970s shorts thigh high, and I would be like, "That's not decent."
The budgie smuggler.
It never got out of the banana smuggling, business.
Were they yellow too?
Oh, he had like a bunch of different. He thought he was slick. You know what? 20 years from now, I'll still be wearing a vest, thinking I'm tough. Like, and people will have full right to make fun of me for it.
You're probably going to be buried in a vest, and your epitaph is going to say,
Yeah.
I'm tough.
Vests keep going. Vests go in and out of style. I think they've been in style twice officially since I've been a kid.
In the
love
early
wearing
90s,
vests.
it's I can't believe I'm saying this guy's name, but Michael Jackson brought back the vest. in the mid 90s,
Yeah,
Michael Jackson
he
rocked
really
the
did. He really did. And the fingerless gloves.
You know what? I'm gonna age myself, but when Bad came out, I got that entire outfit.
Okay,
Okay,
Michael Jackson could not bring back the fingerless gloves because they had never been in the first place.
I'd seen fingerless gloves before.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
they
look at,
were
like-
around. They were just
Yeah.
never cool.
Yeah,
I have no
they were
respect
a
for
utilitarian
fingerless
thing.
gloves. My ex-husband used to wear fingerless gloves for no reason, and I'm turned off to them ever since.
I do Olympic deadlift just so I stay strong, and I wear fingerless gloves when I work out.
Okay, but in that case, they're serving a purpose. You're not wearing them because you think they make you look cool. That's what the vests are for.
I have a pair of
Yes, he is.
It's so inappropriate. I have a pair of black gloves that I call my OJs that I wear all the time, and I wear them because I think they're cool.
OJs.
They're black leather glove. They're called driving
Well,
gloves.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. To tell you the honest truth, they were fancy. And I bought it.
A driving glove is a very lightweight, kid skin, tight fitting glove that only covers the hand, nothing on the wrist, and it's just to provide more grip on a slippery steering wheel.
I
Yeah.
love my gloves. I can't wait for it to get cold.
If you're
Yeah,
calling them
me
the
too.
OJ gloves, then there's just one question to ask: do they fit? Because if they don't,
Yes, they fit. Yes, they fit well. They actually fit
listen.
well.
Of course, I had to
Oh,
say it. I'm
okay.
high as fuck.
Okay, honestly, do you think he did it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but in the state of California, if you have enough money, you can get away with anything.
Oh,
Let's not remember, Caitlyn Jenner killed someone on the Pacific Coast Highway.
yes.
Justin Bieber, I don't know if his friend died, but created such a horrific accident that it was on the news where Justin Bieber couldn't hide and got
Yeah.
away with that. If I
Yeah.
had done that, I'd be in prison.
I
Yeah.
don't think being able to get away with anything as long as you have money. I don't think that's California specific. That's motherfucking America, people.
Oh,
Exactly.
it's much more likely in California. I mean,
Well, in California, a bunch of people have
so
money.
many big trials in California
Robert Blake.
have gone the
No.
way of the defendant when there's just no way it should have or it would have. In Wisconsin, for example, there's no
Yeah.
way OJ would have walked.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. And so we just have it's like, let's just say, like, and I've said this a million times. I've been pulled over and the cops are like, "Oh, you live in a good neighborhood, have a good night." They have said that to me, like,
Oh my god.
yeah. It just here
The
it all
racism is
depends on
wrong with that one.
it just depends on what your address is. It's really sad. Like, you get treated differently if you live on the west side of town, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, I've
Was
gotten
it-
out of a lot of Philadelphia traffic tickets by having a New Jersey driver's license, so I guess that checks out.
Which is how it should be. I mean, if you pay a lot of taxes, you should be allowed to break any law you want. That's just part of the ticket price.
Oh, that's like when a Beamer cuts me up. I'm like, "You didn't buy the road." I've been saying that for 30 years.
Well, it's not if you pay enough taxes, because if you have enough money, you don't have to pay taxes.
Hey, I know one Bimmer driver who is the most polite, courteous driver you will ever meet. Me.
I thought I was.
That's why they blew up your car and threw you out of the club. Huh?
Well, there is that.
I used to think I was a polite driver, and then I left the state of California and realized that I was the problem. I'm aggressive. I drive fast. I'm a stereotypical Californian.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like you'd fit in Boston, where they're actively trying to kill you on every highway.
Been there?
Driving in Boston is shocking. It is so aggressive.
So-
I cannot believe.
I've never driven in the state of Massachusetts, let alone Boston. I don't
Boston,
want to.
Seattle, the
Stories I've
Seattle
heard.
Express, and the LA Freeway. You better have your NASCAR
Do not
qualification.
do not drive in Boston unless you're on meth.
Well, look, I have to. What was I doing? So I have to drive like them in New Orleans. That's fucking like creepy. I mean, it's crazy. They're like joof 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 joof, and you're like, oh god. I'm like gonna take a Xanax and a blood pressure pill, and then I'm gonna get on this 4-lane highway.
Do you know what you just totally reminded me of Mexico, where I called it Mexican NASCAR because I felt like there was no semblance of order. It was like when the light turns green, everybody just kind of goes.
Should see Philadelphia drivers. My God, biggest bunch of morons aside from Floridians I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
For as aggressive as I am, I have a bleeding heart, and when I'm on the highway, I can tell from when someone comes out of town because they're doing 70 in the fast lane. And in LA, everybody's doing like 80 or 90 in the fast lane, and they're flipping them off and passing the person. I genuinely feel bad as I'm cursing them out and flipping them off.
Yeah. Well, Sloth Girl, I don't know how to do the picking thing because I think that's continental knitting, and I can't do it. I just can't get my head around it. But if you have some kind of tutorial, I would be happy to look at it.
So I've recently been looking into buying a giant loom, but I think I just like watching tutorials.
Hate Loom. No, I bought a little set from Walmart. I threw that motherfucker across this room. I was like,
I was thinking about
Looms are great until you're done with the first project, and then it's.
I was thinking about doing this.
Out of my house.
Yeah, exactly. I think like, because I hang out with older people, so I asked the resident chieftain, aka my mother. I was like, should I get a loom? And she's like, if you feel like pissing yourself off, go right ahead.
exactly.
Because I know knitting and like.
Wouldn't
but I
it be
want
cool if there was such a thing as a do-it-yourself, home computerized, motorized loom that you could design jacquard fabrics and things like that? And
I'm sure there is, but it probably is like 100. Yeah, because there's like sewing machines that I'm like, well, I could justify it if I sold my other truck.
Yeah, you get that thing to make some cloth, and you've got that huge thing looming over you for years.
Exactly.
I would love. I see. I've always been fascinated by looms ever since like second grade, third grade, where they had you cut the little notches in cardboard and wrap yarn around it and weave a pot holder and stuff. It's just always been very cool to me, and I would love to go see at an official mill and watch them make all these different fabrics. How is it that this fabric is so different than the next, and what do they do to manage it? I mean, some of the lightweight organzas and stuff like that. Wow, how does a machine do that? It's so
awesome.
Delicate.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
I've been watching a lot of tutorials and a lot of because I'm trying to learn new styles. I'm trying to branch out and learn new things, and like I say, YouTube is undefeated. I have yet to type something into the bar and it not be there, or at least how to.
My grandmother actually had a treadle operated loom in her living room.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm pretty sure that it was the same rug that was on there for at least 10 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I saw this like beautiful serape I had, and I looked it up, and it was a total like fake one made for the tourists. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna use it for my video. Like it's gonna be awesome, And I saw how much work it went in just to make this one for the tourists, and someone made that on a loom.
Yeah.
To sell it cheap to people off of cruise ships and people pulling into Puerto Vallarta.
Yep.
I want to start making shawls and scarves. They're just two of my favorite pieces or accessories that you can get, and I have just so many ideas in my head for stuff, especially shawls. You go on Etsy sometimes and do a search for shawls. You'll be amazed at how many people are out there making them and how cheap some of them are. I like $5 for this gigantic shawl.
That's what I'm saying.
My mother-in-law got me these from Cozumel.
Oh, those are awesome.
Yeah, and also some like dangly ones. I'm not really into dangly, but I thought they were cute.
I bought this giant. I always wanted like a giant PBR belt buckle. Last time I went to Mexico, I haggled with this guy for 2 days. And on the second day, I admitted that I speak Spanish. And we were haggling. He said, I want $50 for it. On the second day, I walked in speaking Spanish. He was like, give me $15, get out, and don't ever tell anyone you bought anything from me ever.
PBR, you mean Pabst Blue Ribbon?
No, professional bull riding.
Oh.
They get those giant belt buckles.
Those big, those big fuck me buckles. That's what I call them.
They're so big you can't sit down.
Yeah.
And so I bought one. I was so proud. I wore it under my clothes on the cruise ship. I passed through the metal detectors. It didn't go off. I lifted up my belt, and the guy at the cruise ship literally was pointing and laughing at me like, "Oh, I hope you didn't pay more than $5 for that."
Yep.
Yeah, my brother worked airport security at O'Hare, and he said that the metal detectors were largely for show, that 80% of the time they didn't function. They just had a button under the counter that they hit occasionally to make it beep, to make people think it was working. Or if a cute girl went by and they wanted to see her walk past again.
I wondered about that because they let us bring back 15 cartons of cigarettes, like 20 gallons of booze. They did not care, and they made us go through customs, and they didn't care.
Oh no, they don't. They don't. I remember when I went through San Francisco airport, like I was so asleep at that point because I really hadn't slept on the plane because my chair was broken and the guy next to me had to get up every 5 minutes to go pee. It was horrible. But like I didn't realize like they pretty much really groped me. I mean, this woman was full on groping, and I was just like, it's like, and I had to go into this machine and have my arms like this, and this machine went around me, and I was just like, and then I'm walking around the airport. And it took me like half an hour to realize that I had my pants undone. But it's California, so I guess no one cares,
And especially in San Francisco, you can legally go to any restaurant with your shirt off.
Yep.
So San Francisco does not care at all.
No, they really don't. And then I almost got hit by a cop riding a Segway.
I miss those things. I don't know why I know why they phased them out because they were on the streets everywhere here in LA.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still around. There's a company in La Crosse that does Segway tours, and every day I see them conducting 5-10 different tours each day, every day during the summer.
Yeah.
We have these weird rent bikes now. They're like they're these weird shaped metal body bikes, and it's
e-bikes?
They're everywhere.
Oh yeah, those are in cities all over the country now.
What are they again?
E-bikes. They're electronic.
Oh,
yeah. They're electric bikes you can rent by the hour.
There are some things you can do to electric bikes that is just damn near criminal. You can make those things so fast. It's
So I took a picture. I have to find that picture. There was a guy. I was in my truck, and he whipped around me on the freeway on one of those things and got off on the same exit that I was. And I took his picture like, oh my gosh, this guy lived to tell the story.
there are most countries that have electric bikes have laws about how big of a motor, how big of a power supply you can have, because that limits how fast they can go.
Yeah,
There was this one European company that broke the rules. An electric motor is more powerful based on how the armature is designed. The armature is the thing inside that spins around, and depending on how many plates, how many windings of the coil, the angle of those plates, all these things can factor into changing. And so what they did is they took this electric bike, and they put a standardized motor on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But then they took the one bar of a bicycle that goes from the front head down to the pedals, the angled one.
Oh, heck yeah.
And they designed one of those into an electric motor. And so there was no way to tell it was an electric motor except the fact that it was. And it made the bikes capable of like 75 miles an hour. It was, and then they got caught. and like everything was seized, and so they're not available anymore. But there's still some out there. It would be so fun to get one.
I grew up around like my dad and his biker friends. Let me tell you, whenever they got their hands on a scooter, they were like little kids. If they got a Vespa or something, they would get on that and do wheelies. Like, everyone talks trash about a Vespa. Go get one. You will have the ride of your life.
I love scooters.
As someone who rode bikes, they're cool.
I rode a scooter every day to work for, almost a whole summer. And then I finally gave up because everybody is aiming at you if you're on a scooter.
It's the same with a bike, too. Now Harley makes electric motorcycles. Mm-hmm. They were bought out by a Japanese company like 10 years ago. And they make fuel efficient bikes now. It's weird to see a Harley and not hear it. Still to this day, I can tell if someone has a newer bike because they have, it's half electric.
Yep.
I'd like to not hear Harleys anymore. I'm real sick of They're open pipes. I just think.
Okay, so there's an issue. Anyone who has a 3-inch pipe on their motorcycle has a penis issue. People who intentionally put larger pipes on their bikes do that to be an a-hole. It has nothing to do with speed. It has nothing to do with intake. That I do not miss that craze.
Well, yeah, that's what louder exhaust has always been about. Same thing with people who put glass packs on their cars.
Well,
Exactly.
as someone who used to build cars that shouldn't be on the street, a large exhaust can make a huge difference if you design it right. I built this 4-cylinder car for myself that to really make it go, I would have to unbolt this one exhaust system the whole length of the car, and I had it set up with 3 bolts in front, and I undo those and just put the whole different system up when I wanted to be obnoxious and go faster. And it was based on the 3-inch stainless steel pipes and this beautiful muffler system called the Super Trap, if anybody knows what those are. And it's tunable, and depending on how many plates and stuff you put in, you can really change it. And boy, that fucker was loud. Probably 120 decibels at the car.
Oh wow! See,
but I didn't have too many issues. I just wanted to go goddamn fast.
Let's see. Should I put last year's body up there? That's what I looked like last year. I do not look like that now.
You did in the bell bottom video.
Well, I'm working out because I have a rule where my upper body, my stomach can't be bigger than my upper body, so I do push-ups every day. I work out still. California, you gotta be ready for the sun.
Well, I understand. I'm actually liking working out now. It's a sickness.
I want to tell you, I was skinny my entire life, and then in the past 2 years, I've gained 40 pounds, and it's not going anywhere. So I've decided to work out and do something about it because I'm of that age where I don't lose weight like I used to.
Well, do what I do. Get on cardio based exercise machines, and start the intermittent fasting.
I say this with love. I am a born asthmatic who smoked for 20 years. I do cardio because I want to live an extra 15 years.
Yeah, well, I was all that stuff too, except for add some extra years and COPD, not asthma. But I will never be what I was, but the improvements that I've been able to make are really unbelievable to me. I still have a long way to go, but it's really made a difference so far.
That's awesome. My mom
panelists faster than I can get the links in the description.
I know I didn't plan to stay that long, but I feel obligated. And the pot's kicking in.
What were you going to say about your mom?
She was a larger woman my entire life, and she lost a significant amount of weight. She got cancer, and she always laughs and says that, cancer was the greatest weight loss program. Oh. But she had breast cancer. She had a full mastectomy and everything, So, long story short, her diabetes went away when she lost all her weight, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And in my family, diabetes is hereditary, but so is people, being a little bit overweight. On the Hispanic side. On my dad's side, they're like literally just skinny and tall people.
I fortunately have never been diabetic or even pre-diabetic, as they call it. I've had a couple numbers that kind of hover around that would qualify me as pre-diabetic, but they never went over the edge. So I've been fortunate that way. But those numbers have improved since I started to work out. I can't believe my cholesterol is down below 100.
That's awesome.
And and I know it was like 400 something when I started this whole journey out. I just didn't believe him for all these years. And, oh, come on! How can exercise?
Sloth Girl, I miss you so much. Can we just give a moment out for Sloth Girl? I miss Sloth Girl. I make that joke all the time. I lost some weight when I got divorced too. That is quite literally one of the greatest jokes ever.
I missed it. I didn't see what.
Oh, it says I lost 500 pounds of stupid fat when I got divorced. My ex-wife and I get along, so I won't talk trash.
Does any of your family, either of you, tune into this where you're not expecting them, and then they tell you later, I saw you on YouTube?
I haven't had anybody that I know actually find my YouTube channel yet.
I created a YouTube account for my mom on her phone because I feel like she's in denial sometimes. And so she gets alert every time Godless Sewing puts a video out. So if you tag my name, she'll probably click on it for a minute or two.
Yeah, the only people I know from the real world that even know I have a YouTube channel are Sloth Girl and her son.
And recently I've been like calling, let's check the Godless Sewing channel. Hey, I'm at 93. Go subscribe to Godless Sewing. I've been calling all the family members that I think can take it, and I'm like, do you have a YouTube account? I called an old friend from Portland. I called my friend from Georgia. I was like, go subscribe to my channel. But it's like, it's the people that I know that like my friend in Georgia, he works for Georgia Pride. So I know that he's not going to flinch when I told him I was bi and I have a good old time, you know? Like, he kind of laughed because he's known me my entire life, you know?
By the way, I first checked when I went and watched that video. I still was subscribed to your channel.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. So I've been
unsubscribed and then subscribed and then resubscribed. Just
every time I tick somebody off, I can tell because I lose a subscriber.
Yeah, I did want to say Sloth Girl is responsible for nearly all of the memes that I use in here.
Oh, that's awesome.
She goes and hunts those down.
Sloth Girl should write a book, Puns and Memes for Dummies.
I used to be so good at writing memes, and I don't know what happened. I have a meme maker. My ex-wife and I, we'd have a cruelty contest where we'd send like the meanest memes to each other, and I'm not that clever anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Harmonica Man did a short stream earlier that he's going to be going offline. Basically, just saying that he can't afford to be keeping up with, paying for internet and all.
I'm sorry.
I had to give up my Wi-Fi because I couldn't afford it. I'm planning on getting it back one of these days, but I've been on my phone just with the phone data, and I'm on this family plan with my brother and sister-in-law, and they pay the bill, fortunately, with no questions asked. They just make so much fucking money. And last month I used 700 gigabytes of data on the phone. 700.
Wow. That's a butt ton. If anyone is wondering, in plain English, and butt ton is a measurement. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm always ever since Isaiah has been homeschooling, which now he's on his like third semester of homeschooling. It has saved my minutes on my phone and everything because I'm always near the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Jenni, you should be eligible for one of the free phone programs.
Uh, yeah, but I get a free phone now right now the way it is. So I've seen no need to go for them. And as far as the Wi-Fi goes, the phone data is fast enough. I can live with it. And I if I were to go with a different phone, I'd have to pay for my own Wi-Fi to have anything, because most of those free phone programs only offer like one or 2 gig of data.
I love you, Robert Eggs. I just read it. I'm sorry.
What did it say? I missed it.
There you go.
Will is by. You hear here from Jason.
I haven't said it at least 5 times today. Oh, that reminds me. Hold on.
Does by mean you can use either your right or left hand?
No, that would be polydactyl.
Yeah. This is an exclusive. Totally reminded me, and I got the buy patch today. I have 2 of them. I thought I ordered more, but Amazon's wording is funny. But yeah, so I'm gonna be throwing this on a vest. It's gonna be awesome. I was actually really excited.
Well, what was confusing? Bi means 2. What did you expect?
The funny thing is, I knew it was definitely close, and yeah, I keep my patches in a DeWalt.
I think there's a secret conspiracy out there over the last year. I've been noticing on television how many different situations use the trans colors, the pink, white, and blue. And I mean, I see it in the background of the public television nightly news.
Oh yeah, it's more and more, and a lot of companies are, doing it so that they have plausible deniability if somebody objects, but they can say they're supporting the gay community at the same time.
I think they're all transgender in secret, and they're just not telling anyone.
The Kaiser Hospital in Panorama City, the entire inside is the trans flag. The entire inside, upstairs, downstairs, in the parking lot. Somebody knew what they were doing when they created that hospital.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it.
Oh gosh, how many folks we got in chat right now?
They managed to find it now.
I'm actually
crap when this doesn't.
Harmonica Man, I'm editing right now, but this was a big distraction. And then I lit my pipe up of wacky tobacco, and now I'm like, it slowed me down.
YouTube claims there's 8 watching, but I've become very suspicious of how YouTube counts.
I kind of wanted to bring up a thing and get some opinions, because I genuinely don't know if I should do something or not.
Well, we've got most of our usual crew there.
Okay.
We've got Robert X and Sloth Girl and Harmonica Man, Doc Fearsome, Irish Swede.
Yay.
Some of you may recall a few weeks ago, I brought up a situation I had at the hospital I go to in the cardio rehab department, where one of the rehab guys was in the workout area, and I was in the women's locker room, just beginning to exit the door, and this guy looks up from behind his whatever and calls me sir. Okay.
Recently?
And yeah, a few weeks ago. And then I gave him pardon me, and he repeats it, sir. And then I gave him a very indignant pardon me kind of thing, and he did it again, at which point I walked out because I was about to go hit him. We were the only 2 in there. I know for a fact we're the only 2 in there, because you can see the whole place. It's not that big. And I know that I was in the locker room because it's not that big either. It's like barely 10 by 10. Okay. I complained to the manager of the unit, and we had a couple of meetings over it, and he said that he talked to the people involved, and that here's our corporate blah blah blah, and gave me the typical 2 cents and
Yeah.
kind of ride about their philosophies and stuff. Okay, which is what you expect out of a corporation kind of thing. And I knew I wasn't going to get anything more. Not that I even wanted anything more. I even said, I don't want the guy fired or punished or anything like that. I just
Oh,
want
he
him to wear.
works there.
It's because it's
Hold on. He works there?
Yeah.
Oh, if you lived in the state of California, you would have had he literally would have been walked out with security.
Yeah, well, that's not that way in Minnesota, but yeah, I'm aware of that in California. It's also is equally as illegal like that in Canada and Norway. They have national laws that make it a felony and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's illegal
anyways,
here.
I thought it was resolved. Okay, my time at cardio rehab has come to an end now because you only get to go so long. And so I don't see these people anymore. But I was into my regular physician for my annual Medicare physical Tuesday, and I mentioned to Amanda just kind of in passing that this happened, and she was incensed that this guy did that. She's the doctor that handles virtually every transgender person in this state's region.
Oh, wow.
She's got to have at least 50, 60 different transgender clients by my count. Just people I've run into. And she said she was just livid about it, and she's about to retire. Going to be gone at the end of December. She's 63, as it turns out. I was shocked. I thought she was like 50. She looks so good. And she says, well, I'm going to speak with them about something. And she says, and blah, blah, Stephen Rathgarber, or Scott, I'm sorry, Scott Rathgarber is a friend of mine. He's the CEO of the whole damn place. He said, I'm going to bring it up with him too. I said, well, no, man, don't make trouble. Just, let it pass. Because I thought it was resolved. Just let
Really, where I live, we get into riots when things like that happen here.
Okay, here goes how we're all up to current. And so I was going through my notes from that visit with her because I wanted to look at some tests that I had to take and things like that for results. And in her write-up, she mentions this incident, and that she had decided to call them and discuss it with them, even though I told her not to. But she's an adult; she can do what she wants. And she wrote down that they said it never happened. That they officially denied it ever happened to another person in the facility.
What a gutless weasel.
And I immediately called the son of a bitch up and read him the riot act, and I even got him mad because I said fuck. And
fuck off. I would have been like, fuck off.
I've been to a locker room. And it's nonetheless, wow. I said, just you have to make a correction on this. You do not want to fuck with me. That's where the word came in. Because I am an old activist, and I'm more than happy to take on a fight because you don't scare me. You're a nothing. I'll fight you tooth and nail to the day I die if I have to. You need to rectify this. And he just continues to say, well, there's a question about that there was somebody else in the room. There was a man standing behind you. Really?
Oh, fuck off.
There was a man in the women's locker room that I couldn't see in this 10 foot by 10 foot room, but most of all, it never happened. That what I was saying was a lie. And it's like, what? How dare you?
Well, and why the fuck would you make that up?
Well, exactly. Especially when, never mind. The fact is that they're denied it. And so I've written a letter to Amanda. She wasn't aware that this happened. so I just let her know that they've said this could happen.
Can I ask a nosy question?
Sure.
And it's inconsequential and it is of no concern or anything. It's just more inquisitive. Where was this person from?
Oh, I don't know. From his speech and stuff like that, I would say he was probably Midwesterner, if not right from Wisconsin, Minnesota area.
Okay, so like he was brought in from the hayfields to go work at the hospital.
Well, La Crosse is a fairly big city, about 60,000 people, 50, 60, and it's got suburbs where another 20, 30, 40,000 maybe live around. So it's not tiny. It's not completely backwards.
Those are huge neighborhoods. Those
and
are
it is
huge.
and it is a known blue section of the state. So
It's just so weird to me to hear that, because like when something like that happens here, like recently, people literally go to the streets and fight each other.
yeah, well, here's my question. Should I take this further?
It's how much are you willing to fight? Like, do you have the heart? Because I'm gonna tell you a godless sewing secret. To a damning point to where I am literally a lone wolf, I always stick up for myself. I truly believe in self-rights. If you think you are in the right, I would go full Karen. But I am a Karen. You know, like I am not scared to get someone fired.
Well, unfortunately, it was only the two of you in the room, so there isn't any evidence of it, and it comes down to your word against his, and so they're probably not going to do anything because you don't have any way to support your claim.
No, but I do know how to push buttons. And
I was about to say, you could put him in a certain situation where this individual could say that to you again in front of witnesses, or say them, or they get these rights or something. There's always something that you could say to, expose this person.
Well, if you think you can, yes, because obviously if they're that cavalier about it, they're going to go and do it to someone else.
Well, yeah, especially if he gets away with it once.
Exactly. I was just about to say, like, that is it's the bank robbery theory. Like, they get away with it once, then they just keep going. Hey,
Randy.
how's it going?
Oh, it's going.
So what do you folks in the chat
On this
think
side
about
of the
it?
grass.
That's why I wanted to wait and hear what you guys had to say, because you have such a diverse backgrounds.
Well, Sloth Girl is saying you should definitely push it.
As someone who works with
This
people
part
with
of the conversation,
disabilities,
so
I would always stand on the side of the law and hold their face to it, like you would to hold them up to the sun, so to speak. Like I said, I work with people with disabilities, so I don't mess around. Like, I'm not scared to make a scene because discrimination happens all the time, and if you don't stand up and say something, it's just going to happen over and over and over and over. I'm a fighter, though.
that is correct.
Well,
That's how
they publish
all bullies act.
they publish their little corporate manifesto about their goals and objectives and all this kind of stuff, and we feel like this and this about diversity, and they specifically say gender inclusion, blah blah blah, identity, sexuality, blah, all that stuff, and here this is going on.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to get into it too much, but a year and a half ago I got a bank teller fired because they profiled me and called the cops on me when I walked into the bank.
Oh man.
Even to the point, and the sad thing is that when the cops pulled up, I went to high school with the cops, and they were like, "Are you kidding me?" They're like, "We know this guy," because I live in a small town. It was a mess.
One thing I would wonder about, Jenny, is are there like any local trans groups or that you could talk to and see if possibly he has done this to other people that might be willing to step forward about it?
Well, that's probably something I'd want to do. I'm involved with the LGBT Center, I go to their meetings and stuff, and I'm trying.
Yeah, because if you could get a couple other people to step up and say that, yeah, he's misgendered them also.
Well, to be honestly, I don't think a single person there would be willing to stand up because they're all very young and clearly afraid to death from themselves as transgender newbies. They're just too scared to step out like that.
Yeah, see here, I don't, and you know what? It's not paradise here. Even today, I saw on Twitter there were people screaming at the LA County School Board for mandating masks for all the children. But there was only 20 people standing out there. They made it seem like it was a ton of people. It really wasn't. We have our yahoos here, but not where they have power. It's just sad.
They do that on Fox News an awful lot too. They multiply the people, and you can see right in their pictures. It's just like all these memes and everything that you see on YouTube. You can see the same rows of people 3 or 4 times over, just making them look like 1,000 times more. It's like there's 6 dudes there, man, not 1,200.
It's a well-known thing when you're in journalism school and you're learning photojournalism. I specifically remember the sections on this little thing. It's called an establishing shot, where you get a picture of the whole building and ground.
Oh yeah.
And all they do is eliminate the use of an establishing shot, so you can't tell that this is 10 people, not 10,000.
Spatial perception is real.
Then there's all kinds of stories.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, and there's all sorts of different perceptions of how that one thing happened. It just keeps on spreading, the bullshit. Because it was created to be bullshit to begin with, I guess.
When I was younger, my dad made me read a book by Wolfgang Kohler, and it's called Spatial Perception. And it's just about, like, if you don't give someone a point of reference, you can tell them that you're anywhere. And this was before the internet, back when phones were stuck on the wall. I read that book a long time ago.
Oh yeah, and I did that too back when I was riding bike. And I'd call my mom up. I'm like, hey, guess where I'm at now? Well, you should be in northern Michigan. Where the hell are you? Just a little bit north of New York, enjoying the woods. And then she'd go call my best friend's mom too, and then we both get in trouble by the time we get home.
Doc, in answer to your comment, I have nothing to lose. I have no money. I have no possessions. They can't take anything from me. So, it's just a question of personal honor and those sorts of things.
Well, it seems that the chat is all saying that you should push it.
So I'm not trying to get up in your business, but like, keep in mind, I'm from LA, so we're all Liberace here. But call your local news and be like, hey, let me bring awareness to this guy and make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult because I already wrote a hate letter to the local news about transgender issues and their bias with it.
Well, you can always do a letter to the editor for any of the local papers.
Yeah, that's true.
Do they have competition?
I'm just wondering if I should take it as far as if they're not willing to resolve it on a personal let's talk in the office situation, if I should consider a lawyer and suing the fuck out of them. Because it's humiliating being misgendered. It hurts very much.
You guys think I'm kidding?
I don't want to sound like something or other here. I got very depressed and suicidal over the whole thing because that's just kind of part of my life is suicide.
Oh no, I get you.
No, I get it.
And I've been trying to unravel it for the last 3 weeks with my shrink.
I'm not kidding you. With my high ass voice, I get misgendered all the time when I pick up the phone. All the time. At least 2 to 3 times a week, someone calls me ma'am.
And it doesn't hurt as much that he misgendered me. It hurts now because they are basically saying I lied, that none of this is real, that I'm just making things up. and I just don't lie. I'm just not that kind of person. And so I'm very, very angry, and what really pisses me off is everybody involved in it is younger than me. That I've been on Earth longer than they have, or I've been transitioned longer than any of them have been on Earth. You know, and it's like, how dare you assault me this way? You know, there's in my chart it says you know who I am, and you know, but it doesn't have my dead name. And, you know, it doesn't. It says I'm transgender, sure, but the guy would have had to dig rather deep into my chart to find that. I know how their software is laid out. I've watched it operate. So that's why I'm sure it was willful. He just wouldn't have known that. And then to just be absolute when I'm obviously confronting him about it, to not even pause for a moment and think, gee, maybe I made a mistake. You know, no, it was willful. And
okay, so under the Whitaker decision of 2017 in the Seventh Circuit Court in Wisconsin, you were discriminated against. So that person broke the law. I knew I could look it up in 10 seconds.
in Wisconsin, really?
Yeah, I typed in it's the Whitaker decision of 2017. It's the Whitaker decision of 2017.
Does it have any case history on that?
Yes, and this is the case, and it's basically it's you can't be anti-bathroom, you can't misgender, and hold on, it's really wordy.
Hey, Dick, how's it going?
I should have been a lawyer, but I don't have the patience.
Did you pass me a link to that in
Hey, Dick.
Twitter chat or Twitter?
Yeah. I was raised by boomers, so you got to give me a second. Because this is like, if I can do this in 10 seconds, then if you had a lawyer, they would throw the book at this person and be like, hey, you know.
Well, last time I went to a lawyer about a trans issue was when they fired me for originally coming out of the closet. And at that time, the lawyer said, you absolutely have a case. Unfortunately, there's no law against it. So there's nothing I can do. But, you know, that was...
Wow. Was it because it was too specific?
Well, that was 1980.
This says there are 60,000 transgender individuals living in Wisconsin right now. The Whitaker decision, 2009, Whitaker Ash, much watched lawsuit and appeal to the U.S. District Court on Eastern Wisconsin. On the legitimate transgender rights topic, bathroom issue, Title X, and the Equal Protection Clause. So under the Equal Protection Clause, he broke the law. The relevant portion of Title X provides that there is no shall on bias of sex be excluded from participation or be denied benefits or be subjected to discrimination under the educational program or activity releasing federal finances assistance, the state statute. This goes through pages and pages of stuff. But like it in America, it is illegal to basically discriminate against somebody.
Yeah. Well, then the question that they always ask is, in terms of lawsuits, is, well, what was your loss? What did you lose in this? What was the damage? And well, the only damage is my emotionality and you know, just my ego is damaged. And
you know, I live in California, so it's just weird for me to hear you say that, because you could sue for that. We're like Canada with a bunch of guns. We're super liberal, but we have a bunch of guns. That's literally California wrapped up in a nutshell.
I would not, you know, say it was your ego, you know, but just that, you know, it was traumatic for you, and, you know, I mean, possibly even you could get your therapist to back that up.
yeah, and my psychotherapist, I don't know that I want to put her in that position, because she's just a fellow, which means that she's you know, she's a graduate, she's been through and she's passed all her bars, she's a legitimate 100% doctor, but to make things more formal and more credibility and stuff, psychologists go through a fellowship where they're supervised for 1 or 2 years, depending on the program, by other, psychiatrists and psychologists and stuff that have been around a while. And I'm afraid of putting her in a position that could be bad for her professional development, and her fellowship put it at risk or anything like that. So I need to consider that too.
Oh, you know what the problem is? It's just wrong all around. You gotta, me, I'm a fighter. You gotta fight for your right.
Well, I am too, and I've gotten old enough to know, I've had a lifetime of trying to pick your battles and stuff like that, and
I agree with you.
I'm just wondering if this is me, or is this something I should really be PO'd about to the point of taking action? I guess that's what I'm just checking myself out, because I just don't know.
You at least gotta like spray paint this guy's a douche, Bart Simpson style, on the building or something.
You said you have nothing left to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So go for it, and you got friends to help support you here and there too. I think, anyways. That's just an assumption.
I'm old school. Roast him and toast him.
and it really makes me mad, because the guy's a ginger. Gingers are nice people.
What? They're crazy.
They have no soul, but they're nice people about it.
I'm gonna say something that I've noticed lately, just as an odd, because I'm an extremely observant human. And this is just from me and my meandering around LA. People have been pent up for the past year and a half, however long, locked up in their house. First off, people have lost a lot of etiquette. I still hold doors open for people. People will just walk right past me when I hold the door open. Before, people used to say, back in the day, people would be like, "Oh, thank you," and people still do say thank you. It's not every single person, but people have been pent up the past 2 years, and I've seen a lot more rage. I've seen intentional car accidents where someone flips someone off and somebody like rams their car into them. I've seen way more fist fights. I had to remind someone 2 weeks ago in the pot shop parking lot that we're in the happy place and there is no fighting in the happy place and you will not ruin my pot shop. People are angry as hell right now.
California, where Chuck E. Cheese is real.
I love that. You know what? I miss that Isaiah doesn't go there anymore. I miss that place. I'd go there and play video games for hours. They still had the Terminator game with the Uzis. Oh man, I miss that place. My son thinks he's my age now.
Well, when I'm done writing, what I was going to do originally, when I thought this was resolved, within the department and everything, I decided I would write a white paper, an essay, whatever you want to call it, and just talk about the dynamics of misgendering, and it was based enough off my own experience that the title of it is the lethality of misgendering.
You want a case study?
It's up to a couple pages now, and in 10-point font and single space, and it's probably about 2,000 words at this point.
Isn't single space just for newspaper though?
No, it wasn't intended for publishing. That's just how I write. And I'm thinking maybe I should write that and submit it to you guys to read and see what you think before I take another step.
Like I said, because I work with people with disabilities, I'm a little hardcore on the speaking up, and you just have to, I'm not scared to make a scene. I'm not scared to call someone out if you feel like you are in the right. So you got to do what you have to do. You just have to get over that initial because I don't care if people are watching. It's not sex. it's telling someone off.
Yeah, world of difference. Well,
And the people in cardio rehab, I've
within
been one
the
of their
next-
best clients.
Right.
You know, because I'm so nice and that I've made so much progress and really tried hard, and then this will
It's so weird. All of our hospitals, rehabs are considered safe spaces here.
Well, and if you push it just because you are, the staff knows you and that, maybe somebody else in the staff would be willing to back you up that this person's been a jerk to other patients.
Yeah, maybe. All right, that's enough. I don't want to hijack the whole damn show, but I needed to hear what some other folks have to say about it. It was just too closed room in my own head. So I appreciate it.
And
Unless
odd.
anybody else wants to keep talking about it, I want to.
Well, it seems that everybody here is saying that you should pursue it.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up
Yeah.
around advocacy, so you gotta speak up, especially because what happens if Ginge gets away with it, and then he pins some young woman up against the wall one day. It's kind of a slippery slope. I'm not saying that he's violent. I'm not putting anything on this human being, but I'm just saying, like, by the time someone gets caught, they've had like 90 incidents. And if you cut that person off, maybe you'll stop all of them, At least for the average male predator.
And these guys, cardio rehab,
There's not that many people.
Therapists have the easiest job on the planet. You go into a session, they take your blood pressure, they take your pulse and your pulse ox. They put you on the machine that they've assigned you to, and for about 2 or 3 minutes during your workout, they come back and they look at the numbers on the machine, write them down, and go on to the next person and look at their numbers. And there's no effort involved in their jobs, physically or emotionally. All they do is just and they basically just hang out around the main desk and chat and stuff while everybody else is sweating their ass off. It's like, God damn, what a nice job.
What a loser lifestyle. I've seen that happen in a lot of hospitals too. That same exact thing.
Well, I'm not going to say that about all.
In a lot of them overnight.
I've worked in hospitals, and I know how goddamn hard you can work in some positions.
Oh yeah, I agree. Not all hospitals, but a lot of hospitals.
Doc has a comment
thing that's going on. It's human behavior.
There we go. And Doc stitched it all back into the original topic.
Oh, Doc, you're nuts.
when to try to make it a little bit the one thing that always tripped me out about the Hadron Collider is that people legitimately thought that we were going to open up a black hole and destroy the planet. A mini black hole.
But we were talking about before the show started. It's true. That really has happened. And Perp pointed out that all the things that you've had just suddenly disappear lately, they've gone off to a black hole that's somewhere in your house or in your neighborhood.
Yeah, every time they fire up the Large Hadron Collider, it just randomly pops up miniature black holes all over the planet.
Okay,
that's all the things you lost that you can't find.
Yeah.
Then I prepared my whole life for this because this is an episode of Stargate. Give me a quantum mirror and I'll figure it out in about 15 minutes.
Oh shit!
Quite literally, that is an episode of Stargate. Great. Oh man, those are.
Oh yeah. The one where they had to go through the planet, or Amanda had to do something really fancy to their ass.
No. We're talking about a quantum mirror.
In season 3,
you'll walk up.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I'm sorry. You can explain it better.
No, I'm a total
go ahead and explain it better.
Season 3 of Stargate, they Colonel Carter shows up with a character who died in the pilot, and they come through the quantum mirror. And basically, the theory is that there's endless possibilities. There's endless versions of us doing all sorts of things, And that's why the Quantum Mirror episodes were so cool, because every time they jumped, it was literally somewhere completely different. And even if it was kind of close, it still wasn't their universe. So they would have to have certain markers and have to know where, where they were, because you would get lost real quick.
You mean somewhere out there, there's a version of our universe where I actually do get a date?
Many versions of that scenario.
I have got to go find that place.
Many versions.
What show are you talking about? Well, because I don't remember that on Stargate, but I remember it on Sliders.
Sliders was amazing. I can go off about Sliders too.
That's what Sliders was all about.
Oh yeah,
one of the greatest episodes is they came back to Earth, and this was in 1995 when the Cleveland Indians made it to the World Series. And part of one of the commercials was the Sliders came back, and they were actually on the Earth, and they were like, "The Cleveland Indians are in the World Series. We're in the wrong. We're in the wrong timeline, But they really
God, I forget the young man's name, but
Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, hey, Brooke.
Good that was the one with Jerry O'Connell. Okay, yeah, I saw that, and the heavy guy with the beard was kind of like the professor.
Oh, I love that show so much. I know exactly because of Netflix.
Hi, Dick.
Dick, I'm a sci-fi geek, and Stargate was like that's my show. But I got to watch the end episodes of Sliders because it was in that weird era where I was like coming of age. So once I hit like a certain age, I was too busy hanging out with my friends to be home on a Friday night.
Well, Stargate, one of the Quantum Mirror episodes was like one of the best lines from the whole series. Was they wound up popping into an alternate universe where Tilk was still a Jaffa, and they were attacking the Stargate command base. So Tilk wound up going up there and shooting himself. And Daniel, Daniel's like, "How could you do that?" And he just shrugs and is like, "Our reality is the only one of consequence."
He said, "You should have stunned him," and he was like you said, Daniel Jackson, our reality is the only one of that is one of the greatest lines ever. Yeah. It's true. Like, it's one of those things.
God, I love that show. It was so good.
If you really think about it, like, have you ever met your doppelganger?
No.
Like someone I have. I walked up to, I embarrassed this young man who worked at like the Rolex store in Beverly Hills, to the point where all the employees stopped and took pictures of us because we looked so much alike. He better never come near me, and he better hope I don't have his dental records.
I found a doppelganger to my older brother, and it was shocking. It turned out to be well, I don't know. She was about in her 20s, and she looked exactly like my brother, except she was female. And African American, but it was just like, oh, that's my brother. How can that be? It was just amazing. Doppelgangers do exist.
Oh yeah.
Well, DNA repeats itself. That's its nature. It might be a few different things, like skin color and all that stuff. You were saying, and gender and all that. But DNA in general does repeat itself over and over and over again.
There was a guy who just made the news recently in the last week or so who was a doppelganger to The Rock. And
I saw that.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Kind of doppelganger. Wow.
Mathematically, DNA has to have a limited number of combinations, and with 8 billion people on the planet.
I'm not going to say who, but there are at least 4 atheist YouTubers that look like family members, scary style, to the point where I had to check to make sure that they weren't these people. All 4 of them. Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's one in particular. There's one in particular that lives in Chicago, and I was like, "Are you online?" And she was like, "No," but she looks like another content creator.
That's amazing. I would love to. I would love to meet if there's a doppelganger of me. I feel sorry for the life they've had to lead, but it's not my fault.
I
You know
had
what's
one in
really
the first
funny?
grade.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it was kind of horrible. I have no idea what this day was about, but I was in the back of the school playing basketball with, the other boys, and of course the girls were on the other side of the school. First graders, right? Then I come back around, the bell rang, we come back around, and about 10 of us boys that was playing basketball. We started walking up, and then there's a girl over here crying off to the side, and then I'm like, she's a good friend of mine. I'm like, "Hey, Kathy, what's going on?" And the teacher was right by her, and they both said at the same time, "You know what you did." I'm like, "Yeah, nothing. I was over on the other side of the school." Well, apparently, something attacked her, left scratch marks all over her face and all that stupid shit, and walked off school property. Well, later on, my aunt thought she saw me walking down the road a block away from my house, and my mom saw me walk in, grab a snickerdoodle, and then walk to the back of the house and not saying very much of anything, I guess. I don't know. But it was just a weird bunch of stories about my doppelganger, but I have never met the little fucker. But if he takes another snickerdoodle of mine, I'm whooping his ass.
You guys are all gonna laugh, but when I met my doppelganger, he was like Tiger King gay.
Okay, that was a mixture.
Oh, I walked up to him. I said, "You are so beautiful," and he was like, "You are too." And we laughed like evil henchmen. We laughed. It was mutual
Was it
admiration.
maniacal laughter?
Oh, it was mutual admiration, is what it was. It was creepy. I mean, down to the point where it was creepy. It was creepy, and I'm sure he tells the same story, like some guy in a vest, some weird Willie Nelson looking dude walked up to me. It was my twin. To the point where I asked him if he knew his dad, because my dad was a bit of a player. I was like, "I'm not trying to be mean, but do you know your pops?" Because my pops got around, so it wouldn't have been rare. Like, to the point where he was like, "If anyone who was half Vietnamese and half black comes to my house, believe them." he was there off and on.
I am your brother.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I think, and I hope this doesn't sound wrong. Based on photographs I've seen, I think children of African American and Vietnamese people are just beautiful human beings. It seems that they, and this is where I just don't know, because it's only based on photographs I've seen. It seems that they all have a blue or green shade of eyes, and they're just something about their facial bone structure that is just it's just gorgeous. I think they're just the most.
I'm biased because I'm half and half.
This?
I always know. Well, it's more of a thing of like I don't want to get into it too much, but like in the African community, in the African American community, there, and anyways, there's people that are Creole that are like in Louisiana that are French and black.
Oh yeah.
Or like in Texas, Tejanos
Never fall in love with a Creole woman.
Tejanos do not consider themselves Mexican; they consider themselves American, because they were in Texas since it was considered, since it was made a state.
Oh yeah. So
it's
just that's what they were born into, that specific little bit of data in their time.
Yeah, so if you ask someone in Texas, like if you ask someone in LA, where are you from? They'll say, "I'm Mexican," or "I'm black," and if you ask someone in Texas, they'll say, "I'm Tejano," or "I'm," it's all regional.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. With the timeline and everything, we're talking about timelines, not knowing certain things. Those are the certain things that you would know if you were in a certain reality,
Yeah.
because those are the things that happen in that exact reality. There might be a couple of towns switched around with activities and stuff like that in another reality, and that's how like the sliders could tell, or so they thought. But they didn't put in the bombastic ridiculousness into the formula. They all just thought something was slightly different.
I miss 90s sci-fi. Everything wasn't so serious back then.
Yeah, I know it. Do you remember Critters?
Of
Critters,
course I do. Of course.
Oh my God. And what was it, 2 or 3? And they joined all up in a great big furry ball with teeth all on the outside. And they'd roll along and
Did you ever watch
a car door would just be stripped because they were biting it so much. And it's like, holy crap, this is stupid.
Did you ever watch the Toxic Avenger or Swamp Thing?
I think the first time with Toxic Adventure, it was kind of like the spoof thing, and he's jumping around on fire escapes and saving people, and it was just one of the dumbest things I've ever damn seen in my life.
I've seen Swamp Thing. It's one of the most ridiculous.
Swamp Thing?
I miss those old crappy shows, and the funny thing is I watched them.
Swamp Thing. Out of all superheroes, Swamp Thing is the most realistic one.
I watch them now, and I'm like, oh, this is awful. Like, I always talk about how the real Sergeant Slaughter follows me on Twitter. And someone my age, I geeked out. I was like, oh, I grew up with Sergeant Slaughter on G.I. Joe. I went back and watched some of the old G.I. Joes, and I was like, these are terrible. And I smoke weed, and I couldn't even get through them,
Them early, them 80s to 90s cartoons, Thundercats, He-Man, all that shit. Every once in a while, you'll find a tidbit of information you didn't get back when you were 15. And then you're like, I watched that.
Oh, yeah. But I love Sergeant Slaughter, though. Yeah, Dick Dawson, Sergeant Slaughter follows me. I freaked out. I called my brother. Oh, yeah. I called my brother. I have a much older family. Like, I have a brother who's turning 63 this year. And so I called all my brothers. I was like, Sergeant Slaughter follows me on Twitter. And they were like, what? And they all looked me up on Twitter and saw that he really was. I had a moment.
I'll be right back.
That's badass.
Yeah, for some reason, Sergeant Slaughter likes my sewing, so I was like, heck yeah. See, Native Atheist knows
you crack me up with your channel here, Will. I mean, you're just so positive, and you're trying to be a badass, and you do this like a rock and roll sign, and then you go, you're giggling. It's like,
because I'm having I'm going to tell you honestly.
It's great. It's just
I got stressed
right
out.
In there,
I got stressed out and I took a break, and I've had fun making videos and sewing again and just making crazy stuff. I'm editing a video right now. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. I'm going to give it away. Yeah, I made a man romper. I made a denim romper. And I made it's part of the video. I made a poncho, but yeah, it's one. I'll show it to you. It's one piece.
Did you make a horse?
No,
because I don't understand when you say the word romper.
No,
dude.
No, so okay,
a romper is what the
like,
British call an adult onesie.
Exactly. So a lot of this started when I was doing my my bell bottoms video. I typed in bell bottoms, on YouTube like everyone else does. And there was an article about how this comedian wore bell bottoms at some event, and people trashed him. They called him gay and all this. And he is this giant, like 6'4" monster of a dude who's like, you guys, I'm just into fashion. Like, you guys are losers, but we live in the era where people trash each other online, you know? I can't say it's not happened to me and I don't participate in it, you know? I'm not claiming
not
innocence.
just online,
but my whole point is
right there in
like,
person.
Like, my whole point is like, there's nothing wrong with wearing what you want to wear. And it was so funny, just like my bell bottoms, I made the stupid thing. I wore it around town. No one noticed that it was one piece. Let me grab it because it's hilarious.
Motherfucker.
No one noticed. This is one piece. I made a man onesie. This is all one piece.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. You know what?
No,
Well, you look like you've been studying Tim Conway comedy.
No belt. It's a mystery. Was sewing wearing underwear under there? Was he? Wasn't he? Does he ever? You know, it's one of those things.
Like on SNL, who's the character? Pat. What's her name?
Pat would
Julia,
be considered
Julia Robertson, or not
so
Robertson,
by today's standards, Pat would be considered transphobic. And where I live, if you call someone Pat, you're gonna, and if their name is not Patricia or Patrick, you're gonna get punched in the face.
Really?
Yes. Well, it's a certain age group. Like, calling someone a Pat is an insult, but it's more around my age group because people might watch SNL.
Urban
I don't know if
slang, just like Marty McFly was always saying heavy. I get it.
I always say that I have the Marty McFly syndrome. Someone calls me yellow, I try to fight them, you know. I think we all do at a certain point.
People always ask me, harmonica man, how's it hanging? And I'm like, short shrivel and to the left. I mean, just fine.
I always say low and lazy just to throw them off guard.
Yeah, you know, most people don't realize that calling somebody yellow is a racial slur.
Yeah.
Oh, for
well, it comes
Chinese
from
workers
when they were building the Transcontinental Railroad. You know, that the Irish workers, of course, just thought, you know, rumbling was good entertainment, and the Chinese workers would avoid a fight whenever they could.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to avoid a fight, they're saying that you're Chinese, that you're too chicken to fight.
Oh, so it's a coward thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And in the
although the Chinese got back at the Irish for this. That's why we have chop suey. Chop suey literally translates to miscellaneous scrap. Because the Chinese cooks then would feed their own people. Well, they would feed their own people, and then all these stems and rotten pieces and bits that they didn't want to put in the stuff for their own people, they made a sort of stew that they fed to the Irish out of their garbage.
Oh, that's gross. You know what my dad used to always say,
is that
though?
true?
You know, my pops
that is the origin of chop suey.
When I was a kid, my dad would make this stuff called wok stew. We thought it was the greatest thing ever. What he would do is get he would put fish and like all kinds of things in it. He would just get all the leftovers from the freezer, thaw them out, and put them in tomato sauce with spices and put it over rice.
Oh, I bet a lot of it was Cajun.
As a kid, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. It was literally like, hey, man, we're just going to eat whatever's left in the fridge tonight.
Well, yeah, my dad grew up in the Depression, so yeah, he used to make soups like that too.
And you know what, honestly, still to this day, I make soup like that because I grew up like that. So to me, it's the greatest thing on earth, you know? That's why
go ahead. No,
I laugh at Mexican restaurants when they sell sopa de siete mates, which is soup of the 7 seas, which is literally whatever fish you have laying around, you throw in the soup.
Yep.
There's no rhyme or
I wouldn't
reason
mind
to
that
that
at all. I'd be like, jambalaya, bring it on.
But here in California, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
My mom had 2 different recipes that were her, you know, she was a Depression kid also. that we all thought was just tremendous. Oh boy, we're getting this today, and I realized, once I hit adulthood that, oh, that's why Mom did that. One was gravy bread, which was just, 2, maybe 3 slices of spongy white bread with leftover gravy on them, and that was it. That was the meal for the night, and we loved it. And
you know what? I still do that today, Jenny.
Was beans on toast. Just basic toast, buttered, throw some beans in it, throw it under the broiler for a moment or two, and boom, done. And it was great. I loved it.
That's like me and tortillas. I thought, I grew up half Mexican. I thought we just put tortillas on everything. No, you can make anything. You can make anything into a taco, especially leftovers. And the funny thing is, still to this day, I love taco night.
I agree.
But when I was a kid, it was another thing. Like, oh, all right, we're making tacos out of chicken or whatever was left over from the other day.
Hey, Dick.
Hey,
I haven't had you in here in a while.
All right.
Hey, it's the big Dick himself.
Let's see if it works. Oh, you guys want to see a magic trick? I have a working Nintendo DS. I found. Oh, I'm an archaeologist.
I haven't seen a functional one in about 20 years.
What is
that? I have Super Mario in it too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
right,
yeah.
Everybody don't talk at once.
I always wanted one of those or something like that, but I just knew that they'd go obsolete so fast, so I didn't spend the money. I was a cheapskate then. No, I wish I would have.
I was never much of a gamer.
There we go.
Any of this computer I have no idea. When computers come out where you can study them in school or have they all had the green words and stuff. That's when I got out of college or
the phosphor displays. They were so easy on the eyes. Oh, they were awesome, Harmonica Man.
I had an Apple IIe forever.
The phosphor displays, the green and the amber phosphor displays, they were so easy in the eyes for text display back in the day.
Really? They did that under strains?
Yeah, well, they did that on purpose. Those phosphor displays were to make the characters more crisp and accurate for word processing, right?
Yeah. Actually, a place I was working in the late 80s, we had they had a monitor like that it was a monochrome, but it was orange. And that was the best one I ever had. I could work on that for 4 to 6 hours at a time with no problem with the eye strain.
Those green screens remind me of Reader Rabbit, Jeopardy. I miss those old school Apple IIe games. I still have old Quest games.
Godless. Oregon Trail, buddy. Oregon Trail.
Still have it. I still have it somewhere in this room.
I remember that in school.
Oh yeah.
They were trying to teach me how to use computers, and then I touched a boob and said honk honk instead, and then my Oregon Trail dude died.
Isn't there a cult that's on the web today about Oregon Trail, and they still play it on old machines and stuff?
Yeah, but I was saying about G.I. Joe, okay, I'm a collector of stuff, and I get certain things, and I'm like, this was way cooler in 1989 than it is right now.
I love it.
I have a Nintendo 64. I love the thing. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I have an old Star Wars 1970 wannabe Battleship Command game. I can't sell it. It's vintage. I still have the box. It's just kind of pointless.
I would buy that.
Maybe a museum can rent it from you.
I was thinking about that because I have a bunch of rare cameras and stuff, but I probably would just end up selling them.
I remember figuring out that on Pong, this was when Pong was the only game up there, that you could give English to the ball, the ping pong ball, if you moved the paddle in such a way just as it hit. and I was how excited I was that this magical technique.
Yeah, the last version of Pong did that shit just like pool, and it was like, wow, this is way different.
When Brickles came
and then they come out with the Nintendo 2 or 3 or whatever, like that just afterwards.
You know, in no way do I claim technical superiority. I literally bought a brand new Mac because they think for you. So in no way am I saying like, oh, like I have all this technology. Like I'm just as like not versed on computers like the next person.
I would like to add on to this conversation. Yeah, don't ever blame yourself for trying to make yourself stupid.
Will, do you transfer your phone?
They'll do it for me
to the Mac.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff I've figured out, but like no joke. Like I have the one I'm talking to you on right now is my old Mac. It's a 2019 desktop. When I walked in the room with my phone, it sunk it the first time I got my phone. You know. And so when I got,
have you noticed how they automatically update so that all the computers have the same pictures on them? And
yes,
isn't that something?
It is in a way, but it's eerie because I took over all my dad's files, and I almost feel like calling Apple and being like, "How do I like not look at these? How can I like store these somewhere else?" You know. Because when he passed,
I don't go to these websites, Apple. I don't want to see this.
But every time I buy something, you know, you put in your Chrome password and stuff, and there it is, you know. And I'm flexible. I'm not like tripping out about it or anything, you know. But technology's crazy, and when people are like, "Oh, it's tracking you," heck yeah, it's tracking you. It wants to sell you stuff.
Yeah. It's called advertising, baby. Get with it.
I kind of appreciate the tracking. I keep my location off on my phone so that it's not tracking me in the phone conscious sense. It's probably doing it in the background without telling me. But nonetheless, I'll turn it on at specific times when I'm shopping or something, because it knows now I'm shopping for such and such item, and it will direct me to places that have it that I never thought of, and we'll look for the pricing, and it'll just take care of things for you and help.
But Jen, you remember back in the day, you'd be sitting there watching a show and an advertisement would come up and you'd be like, wow, that's amazing. With targeted advertising, I don't see that so much anymore because I don't see things out of my range of interest and influence anymore.
Yeah, well, you just watch regular broadcast TV for that.
What's that?
The only reason I have cable is because I'm obsessed with hockey, and for some reason my cable provider is the only way you can watch the Dodgers in LA. So like only
the Dodgers don't play hockey, dude.
No, I'm just saying in sports in general. I'm
okay,
sorry.
I was gonna say you're really confused.
No, but
here.
like with my with the hockey package I bought, man, I watched the AHL. I watched leagues I've never heard of. I watch Russian leagues. It's awesome. I watched the women's championship recently.
Hey, well, Godless, are you watching the KHL, the Kazakhstan Hockey League? I believe the K is Russian or something. But,
yeah.
They have a lot of ex-NHLers and stuff. It must be some good hockey, man.
Oh, the Swedish league is the same way. It's you know, if you get on the ice, they play. You know, I watch World Juniors. They go in hard too. You know, and recently when I don't know if it was the women's juniors or if it was just the regular, it was Canada. Of course, it's always Canada and US in the finals. The Canadian women and the American women were beating the crap out of each other. And I was all into it. I was like, heck yeah, America came to fight. And America lost, and it's all right. You know, there was some tears shed. you know.
Yeah.
But
that was some good sport. That was really good, man.
Oh, it was great to watch. It was great to watch.
Agreed. I was all over that. That was really good sport. That was good. Oh, Purple, you did it. The Minnesota Trail.
Yeah, it took me a couple minutes to find it, but yeah, when I moved in 2019, Randolph Richardson made this for me.
Oh,
for
of course he
fundraiser.
did. Of course he did. Now it makes all the sense.
Well, if you look close, it's 6 Triceratops pulling the wagon.
Legendary. I love it.
Oh my God, it is. That's amazing.
That's really good.
I love it.
It took my brain a second.
I had to put it up on full screen.
Yeah.
But oh, you know what? All I had to do was look forward. I still have my projector on and I can see it so clearly. 127 inches right there. What was I doing looking at this stupid screen to see it?
That is the
127 inches. You got
127. Yeah, I've got like my entire wall is my television in my living room.
I did not get a flat screen TV until after everything officially switched to digital broadcast.
Yeah, it was only worth it then, wasn't it, Jen?
Well, I just couldn't see spending the money. It's just, it's not going to look any better anymore.
Well,
I said, yeah, okay, I'll buy a flat screen now. But I only bought a 22-inch one because that's all I could afford.
My first was a 28 because I was a broke ass son of a bitch.
I still have it. It still works great. And you know who made it? And this is like so politically such a great coincidence. It was made by AOC.
I know that brand.
I didn't get a flat screen until after I had moved from New York to Michigan. That was like 2015.
Excuse me.
That was when the 32-inch ones finally came down to under $200, so I could afford one.
My first flat screen monitor, godless sewing will like this, was an iMac G5.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, you're talking about computer monitors. Shit, I was thinking about TVs. You know,
Well, it was still my first flat. Yeah.
You know, I was a holdout.
I got a Toshiba that I got in like 2000. I don't know, freaking 7 or 8 when I got back here to Michigan, and I turned it on exactly like 5 freaking times.
the reason I could never afford a larger TV was because I was putting all my money into computer stuff and for high-end video editing and stuff. And I bought one of the first Apple flat screen digital monitors. And it was
the cinema displays, the originals. Yeah.
I have one in my closet. I gotta go look.
Inches, diagonally.
Oh yeah.
And it was just stunning resolution.
Oh yeah, I remember those days.
I still have that thing. I can still plug it in.
The cost of a computer, Jen, though, like they were literally a second computer in value.
I paid $2,300 for that bitch.
Yeah. But they were worth it, weren't they? They were the best screen money could buy.
Yes, they were. Nothing came even.
You know what I've noticed since the COVID outbreak, all the video stores have closed down. You know, the one store that rented out CDs and Blu-ray and all that crap, they just completely closed down. It just disappeared like that. And the only thing you can do to watch movies is watch the old free ones on YouTube, or even some that are like freaking 30 years old, they'll charge you for. You know, you
go to the library. You can borrow movies from the library, dude.
Oh yeah, that too. But it's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's no other avenues to do this. Is what I'm saying. As soon as COVID hit, Blu-ray stores went right out of business, just like that.
Well,
that makes
with the net being what it is nowadays. How long does it take to download a 3-4 gig movie? Half an hour if you're on a snail's pace connection.
I have fiber. So I can download an 8 gig 4K movie inside of 4 minutes.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, I pay $147 a month for that connection.
Oh shit, man! I pay almost I pay 86 for mine
Oh, here we
per
go
month,
with the
and it moves with the speed of smell.
Does that
Wow.
include all your cable networks and shows and stuff?
No, that's purely internet only. I get nothing else.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I
My speed is a gigabit down. Right? Like I can download the newest episode of The Flash in the time it takes me to click the mouse and get up to even touch the kettle to boil water. It's already ready to go.
Aha!
Right. And-
you think you're the Flash? I knew it.
I love my superhero shows, but the one reason I can do this is, I'm a single parent with an autistic child and I'm on disability. I'm not somebody who can spend $147 a month on internet, but on the Shills channel, we broadcast at 60 frames per second and so on and so forth. So I need the upload speed. I have no choice.
I
Right.
love when conversations get to this about speeds and shit. I just like people to know who weren't necessarily there in those days. In 1985, 86 in the winter, I downloaded I transferred a file from my house to another guy's house about 10 miles away. It was a 1 megabit 1 megabit file, and it took 8 hours.
Yeah, I had the 300 baud acoustic modem with my Commodore 64, and I remember trying to download the programs that people would type in from the magazines, and we'd trade them, and it would take 3 hours to download a 6-page program typed in from the magazine.
And we were thrilled that
you guys were all rich compared to me.
8 hours, and
I just had to make sure I had enough gun
over there with complete computer system, set it up, and give him a copy of the cassette.
Oh, Jen,
we got to give Randy a chance. He's got some lag, so it's hard for him to get in there.
No.
That's what it is.
Saying,
okay.
I'm still in the black powder and ball gap era where I live. So you guys just enjoy that, fast freaking 8-hour long, 10-minute video internet you got. I got horses carrying this message to your ass.
Hey, I pay a lot of money so I can watch sports in a language I do not speak. It's not all rainbows and blowjobs around here,
That's why there's these little words. You pay for them little words along the bottom. That's what you're paying for.
I gave up on TV when the cable got to be costing over $100 a month.
Oh, I gave up before that, Purple. That's insanity. When you've got commercials everywhere, why am I giving you so much money? No way.
So nowadays what they do, like if you buy a certain package, like I bought the sports package, but they gave me HBO, Cinemax, like they gave me everything. It was the weirdest
Cinemax.
Thing. Yeah.
Cinemax in the sports package. That makes a lot of sense.
They gave me a bunch of channels I didn't have before. So I watch HBO all the time now.
Well, part of the thing of Sloth Girl 9 needing apartments in the same building is she gets to use my car and I get to use her Netflix and Amazon Prime.
One of the reasons
she's got you beat, Purple.
I'm hooked on watching Star Trek, and in the next month and a half or 2 months, they're going to be taking Star Trek off of Netflix. And I'm actually angry about it.
All of them?
All of them.
Where is it going?
To CBS. I'm sorry, Paramount Plus.
Ah, crap.
I have Paramount Plus because I'm spoiled. So my whole point is, I've been watching Star Trek on Netflix since it came out. I watched Enterprise, 700 times in the past 10 years,
I had just gotten around to going back and starting to watch DS9. So now they're going to pull it before I get to the seasons I haven't seen yet.
My favorite, that's my favorite show. That's what happened to me.
Dick.
With
Dick, you're muted.
With Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, but I wanted to be because I didn't want to interrupt. I was just talking in the background, going, man.
Okay.
No, I felt so bad because I saw an announcement and like I didn't believe it, but they did it to me with Doctor Who. I would obsessively watch Doctor Who on Netflix, and they took it off years ago.
They did that to me years ago too. That I was watching Burn Notice, and I got like
was that a great
through like halfway through season 4, and it's like the next week it disappeared.
Exactly.
I love that show with Bruce Campbell.
Maybe it was too good a production.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Jenny, did you just say Bruce Campbell was on that show?
Yeah, on Burn Notice. Yeah,
I've got to see that. You mean Army of the Dead? Evil?
Yeah.
What's his name? Campbell, right?
Yeah, he's in that show. He plays like I don't want to give it away. It's a great show. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, it's good. Just go watch the fucker.
Yeah,
Hey, you guys,
don't spoil it, please. Please don't spoil it. I have to see this.
I located the building on Google Earth that they used for filming Michael's headquarters.
Oh, I have
like
to
his
see
apartment.
this.
I was real obsessed with the show. I just
I'm
Well,
really
I've always
bad
had a
at
crush
that.
on Bruce Campbell. I think he's a doll.
So I'm the
He
kind of
is.
person- I'm the kind of person you don't want to
A lot
watch
of young
certain
ladies
commercials
do.
or movies with because they film a lot of stuff in LA, and I'm like, dude, that's downtown LA. That's the 3rd Street Bridge. That's like,
Godless? Godless, I do the same thing with the CW shows filmed in Vancouver. I'm like, I lived in that apartment building. That's where I used to buy pot, stuff like that, right?
I'm like that with Stargate because I went to Vancouver like in I want to say 03 and 04.
Okay.
So like there are certain episodes of Stargate where I've like, hey, that's not Seattle. You're in Vancouver. You're lying. You're lying our socks. But they
I think
openly
it all
admit-
blends into one big coastal city or metropolis.
Yeah.
I've done that with a few movies. Most notably, I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. So, in Blues Brothers, I recognized everything in that movie. And
Purple, that's
part
my
of the
son's
chase
favorite movie. That's my son's favorite movie.
part of the chase
Mine
scene,
too.
they're going through Winnetka, and they go right past the house of the girl that I took to the freshman prom.
Oh,
No way!
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome!
That's pretty wild.
Purple.
And I used to know the area of Milwaukee that they filmed the part where Henry Gibson drives off the end of the bridge.
No, Jen, that's where I wanted to go to. When they drive off the bridge and it goes up, because that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
When they show the car up in the air and they look down, it looks like it's an abandoned airfield or maybe an industrial section that's been cleared out. But then the car lands in the middle of the city. Where is that?
That at that time, that was the end of the freeway heading east, and that would have been probably about it was about 5-6 blocks to the lake, to the harbor. And so the freeway just wasn't done. It was a stub, and they hadn't connected it to the big bridge that goes across the harbor. It's all
No way!
But that's,
You are describing how they filmed Chips with Eric Estrada.
That
Yep.
was the
It's a
greatest
flutter and
worst
not a-
show in the history of the world.
in
That entire show.
if you watch that
No.
Blues Brothers
I
scene
disagree.
really close, in the background of one of the shots, you will see this big brown building. I don't recall if it shows the flame on top, but it may. And if you then watch Ghostbusters, you will see that it is the same building because they came back because they liked the architecture of the building so much for the big building, Ghostbusters, and it was a Wisconsin Gas Company building.
Awesome.
I gotta
So they had to have a flame.
I gotta get going. It's been great, guys. You guys are awesome. Today
Good
was
deal,
drama
godless
free. So I gotta edit this video or I'm gonna be up all night. Purple,
Okay,
Good to see you, Godless.
good to see you guys. I will see you again.
Later,
Later.
Gabe.
Awesome.
Good night.
Maybe. We're holding in there. Excuse me and all that.
I like that guy. He's honestly funny. He doesn't have to try. He just is.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
he is very funny.
I agree.
I don't like it when somebody has to try to be funny. And I know I sound like I'm trying all the time, but that's because I take things to the vulgar level of extreme that most people won't go. But that's
Well,
what
I
I do.
think it's because you got the entertainment voice for it. You're a little bit higher energetic level, and that's where you're.
Yeah,
A little.
That's where it is, right
You
there.
don't have to try to be funny. Your voice is funny all the time.
Who's
Thank
mine?
you. Thank you very
You know,
much.
when I first met you, I thought that your voice was a put on, that you purposely conjured yourself this AM game showy kind of
Yeah.
voice. But no, it's just the way you talk.
Yeah, it's the
Amazing.
stereotypical
Jake,
80s
you got a
DJ.
great TV voice. But you got the voice for radio, man. You really do.
Well, you could be making money on voiceovers.
I don't know if you
I,
caught that or not.
Oh no, I did. My one of the audio apps I used to doctor my voice crashed. So I couldn't react while you guys were saying that. I had to sit here and go, yeah, okay, cool. I'm trying to restart the app right now and it's not working out very well.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
moly.
But Orla, those are real
Orla?
life in your case.
Is that your genre? Orla Seraph is sick at this is her genre. Or them or they.
Well,
I don't
Well,
know.
I can't help telling dad jokes, but now everybody sees right through it because now I'm a transparent.
Holy fuck.
That wasn't actually one of Sloth Girl's jokes.
I believe that.
Oh, Purple, that sounds like something I'd say. You took a minute to think of this one, though, didn't you?
Holy fuck, you'll be. That's funny shit, man. I love it.
I love it, too.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die. You know what's funny is over on the shills. We had a really interesting week. So Purple says one day on the show, "Oh, by the way, everybody, I'm transitioning." A couple days later, B is like, "Hey, yeah, I'm making it official," and we're just like, So we've got a female show. We've got the guys show. Who does everybody? Where does? You know what? You guys let me know, and we'll just figure it out later because I got nothing.
Yeah.
It's already agreed that
Here's
me and
the
I are
thing.
just switching places everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, Dick,
I love it.
You should get the message and transition. You've already got great hair.
Oh fuck! Oh, Jen, that's funny. But it was a great week because it really showed how internet streaming and whatnot is supposed to go. You're supposed to be your fucking self, right?
Yeah.
That's how I
That's
see
what
it.
the entire channel is supposed to be about. Unfettered, unedited. This is your channel.
Well,
you
yeah.
say what you want, and whoever's on there with you. I mean, it's just a conversation, just like in
I
your
have to
home.
say, this
You
online
get past
community, it's been great because it's like, I announced it. Everybody's just taking it in stride. Nobody's really made any real comments about it.
Well, what's the comment? It's your deal. It's
Yeah,
your style.
Yeah,
and it's
Junior
your
made me the new
groove.
avatar.
It's
Yeah,
still
man.
scary as hell.
No?
No matter how much of recognizing it's you on the inside, it's still scary as fuck.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I'm still working on the appearance, so I haven't started to do it publicly in the real world yet.
a girl
with
that
this
lives
logic,
down
I
the road
agree,
from me
Jenny,
could teach you how to
except
shave your
for
legs, I'm
if
sure,
you
real
believe-
well. Oh, sorry, Doc.
Okay. Brandy?
Sorry, man. Yeah. Sorry.
No. I was saying, it just doesn't matter the years in between and the laws right now. The only thing that matters is you believe in yourself, the thing that you are. If you were born with male genitalia and you are a female, then that's the thing you got to concern yourself about, not these. I mean, let's face it, we only get a president every 4 years. These laws change back and forth through hands of power, and we just got to keep steady with our beliefs in what is moral. And if we miss out on that, we attach ourselves to groups that we don't want to be involved with, and it just changes everything. And it's not for the better thing that you've had your vision in life for in the first place. So you're wasting your life if you follow the wrong direction.
Can I jump in there, though? Because Harmonica Man, now, I know what you mean when you say moral. Because what you're talking about is, be true to yourself, be a good person and whatnot. But unfortunately, I don't think that word transitions. I didn't mean to do that. But it doesn't go to all communities. Jen, do you know what I'm going at here? Moral.
Actually, that's what I said. That's why I said I flip it over to this other explanation. And a lot of the cursives into the corners translates to the thing you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there's morality the way certain people see it, and then there's morality the way it should be seen. Right?
Yeah, I only made a general perspective of it because I
wasn't, dude, I wasn't calling you out because I knew you were on the proper side of it. I just was making sure that everybody, else on the airwaves was catching your vibe, right?
It's a study psychological thing that you just can't help learning about. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also unfortunate now and then when people have the wrong version of it. And that's the problem, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to argue it till the ends of time. But haven't we had that already? So damn much that we have stifled ourselves as human beings. Let's stop the arguments and say, look, this is reality. Now, God damn it, let's move along.
Yeah,
and who gives a shit
I love how you threw
going,
God in there with damn it.
People have gotten very, very, very good today at weaponizing religion.
Oh my God, Jenny! Good call. Good call.
And it's
right
tragic
words.
for the culture at large and for religion, because it's like, okay, we want everybody to be a Handmaid's Tale character because this religion says so. And it's such complete bullshit. You can't run a society this way. If you want to see what happens, just look at the Mideast and all those countries that are run by religion. Every one of them sucks.
Yes, they do. And that ain't because they just like water. It's because they have stupid idealisms of I'm bigoted against somebody else who is not me, preferably a gender to blame it on.
Well, and
so
unfortunately,
Jenny,
I think
yes,
that
you're correct.
a lot of the politicians have really weaponized religion.
Yes, they have.
Except they do it undercover because, well, Constitution and separation and all this kind of stuff.
Well,
they operate under the guise. And I remember this when religious figures first started getting involved in politics back in the days of Jimmy Carter and just before that, when your Billy Grahams and stuff started thinking that they should.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when the televangelists
just-
started endorsing people.
Don't put these people in office. They're going to force religion on you, and they would all come back and say, "Oh no, it may help me guide my thinking and stuff, but it would never be something I'd impose on everybody else." And it's total bullshit. We knew it then, we know it now, and it's exactly what they're doing, is pushing their religion into our laws.
I agree,
Yeah.
100%, Jenny.
Can I put my hand up? Oh, we've got to read Orla Surf's comment here. You didn't just turn into a fire-breathing dragon with a taste for burnt human flesh. Although I feel we'd probably still get along. That's the best.
I can't risk breathing fire anymore. The acid reflux has just scraped up my throat too bad.
Yeah, I was just going to say, see me after the show. I'll give you my number.
Oh, God.
So, anybody watch baseball? No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't answer me.
No, I don't pay any attention to
When I
sports
was
at
a
all.
kid.
Milwaukee
Good,
Brewers.
neither do I.
Go Brewers.
I like Brewers. They make beer. I like them. Go Brewers. Oh, that's not what you meant?
I'm going to join the club myself.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not a sports junkie, but I've always been one of those sports fans who follows the local team. I really don't care what the rest of the league or anything is doing. I don't remember individual stats or even how many games they won this year, but the hometown team I support, because when you have a major league team or even a minor league
Yeah,
team,
but
in some cases,
if you're in Milwaukee and you're supporting the home team, shouldn't you be singing the Laverne and Shirley theme song? Isn't
No,
that how it
because-
works?
because that was just a very temporary black mark on Milwaukee's history.
We're gonna do it.
A home team really affects the city that it's in. It changes the spirit of the people who do follow it, and it's infectious to the rest of the community in a very positive way.
well, see, that's
No,
part of why
I agree
gotten-
there. Yeah.
Part of why I got disenfranchised with professional sports so much, is that, like, back in the 70s, they really were the hometown teams. This was like each city was sending their group of gladiators to battle another city. But then it got so commercialized that they all the players just sold out to whoever's the highest bidder. So, they're not gladiators anymore. They're mercenaries.
Yeah. Purple, it almost starts with Glenn Sather and Wayne Gretzky in the NHL hockey, because he built a team that he couldn't even pay for and went bankrupt over.
God, Gretzky was so good. Ugh.
Oh, he was the athlete. He was the athlete. He could literally direct 20 people on the ice, or 3, 5, 6, 12, whatever. But and it was just poetry. But it all came down to money, and that's how when he ended up in LA, and that ruined everything. Because Guy Lafleur did not leave Montreal for money.
But it's like when Gretzky came on, folks. It's like he taught the whole NHL how to skate, like they never knew.
Oh
before.
yeah,
he was so advanced and so good.
Yeah,
He had
exactly.
such a figure skating background that he could just blow them away. It was just, it was so neat.
Everybody talked about Bobby Orr and stuff, and then when Gretzky came along, it was like, yeah, but they're still good.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
It's
like they were good. They were good for their time. Gretzky bought a new stuff. It's like when high jumping went from what it was to
the Fosbury flop,
doing the flap backwards. It changed the sport completely.
Yeah,
but that's what happens.
That is the ultimate analogy, because when Fosbury stepped up, it changed the game, and Gretzky rewrote everything about ice hockey. It was just insane. It was a fun era to watch too. Wow, that was cool. When they transferred it from the Islanders, and it was like, Trottier and Mike Bossy and whatnot, and the dynasty shifted. That was a big deal. That was really cool era. But that's when people played where they were brought up and stuff,
Well, and that's why I found when I was living in St. Paul that it was actually more fun to go to the farm team game, the St. Paul Saints, because those were the guys who were out there trying to prove themselves, hoping they could get into the big leagues.
Yeah. It was the same in Ontario, watching the OHL players because they wanted their NHL ticket real bad. And those guys played like every game was their last.
And it's still that way with the minors, the B squads. We have the lacrosse loggers here. In fact, Minnesota and northern Wisconsin are just rife with minor league teams. And they play some good ball, and it's a small stadium. You get to know the players personally, and it's a really good time.
Well, and the St.
People
Paul
don't
Saints
realize that minor league players get paid so little that they will actually hope that they meet a fan that's so nice that they'll say, "Come on, stay at my house."
Yeah, they're called groupies. I remember them.
And I had a friend.
Yeah, you do, Dave. So do I. You know exactly.
Well, in the St. Paul Saints games, they threw a bit of humor into it. They did some, kind of, campy little sketches in between innings and things. They had some fun with it. And also at the concession stand, they had 2 slushy machines that they loaded up for strawberry and lime margaritas.
Oh,
what are you kidding me?
In Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Well, it was also something that they did that, they would have different groups running the concession stand. And basically any group that ran the concession stand, they would get a section of the concession proceeds donated to their organization.
The loggers here in La Crosse have a ticket package. I think it's 6 or 7 games, seated, so you're under the roof of the so-called stadium, and with that you get a bunch of free tailgate foods, and you get a bunch of free this and a bunch of free that and a hat and just all this shit that it makes $100 look like a bargain. It's just really neat that there's just so much connection between the community and the minor team.
One of the sections in the Saints Stadium, you could get a ticket package, so you could sit there and you could watch the game from a hot tub.
Oh,
they had installed 3 hot tubs in the stands.
Oh, would that be cool?
That's ridiculous.
Sport. That's one thing I've had to get used to. Is sports are so different up here in the boonies than they were in Milwaukee. They follow. I mean, legitimately follow high school sports. These news stations are at every high school volleyball team game, every track meet, every cross country meet, every swim meet. They really take care and concern into what the kids are doing. Part of that's because there's just nothing else going on, but still they take the time to cover it, and the community loves it, and the kids love it, and and I don't know, a kid in high school sports should get recognition for what they're doing.
Well, Minnesota, the high school hockey tournament is still the biggest thing. Try finding a parking space within 5 miles of downtown St. Paul when the high school hockey tournament's going on.
Yeah. When the state track meets always comes to La Crosse because of the facilities, and they always cover it for weeks before that it's coming, and start letting people know, don't bring your car anywhere near here. It's going to be so loaded. We're expecting an influx of 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And
I actually know a half dozen people who pay for a year's membership at the Science Museum just so that they can use their parking ramp during the high school hockey tournament.
Wow.
Because it's cheaper than any other parking they could find for that.
oh man, that's a good idea.
That's intense. That's intense. Wow.
Boy,
I gotta watch the time. My neighbor and I, we both got kids. We take turns doing breakfast mission and stuff, so the other one can just go, oh dear God, give me a break, right? And her little punk has his first day of kindergarten tomorrow, and I'm on breakfast duty. So I only have about 20 or 30 minutes to go, and then I'm SOL.
Well, that's really a nice thing that you do. That's a great idea. Is their kid autistic as well, or?
No, he's 5, the other one's 7, and oh my God, they're such more of a handful than mine. It's just I'm not even going there. Just not.
Well, at that age, yeah.
Yeah, mine's 14, right? So, if I say, hey Felix, do you want to come down for breakfast? No, I'll have it at my computer today. Okay, then you will. That's fine, But hers are just like, wah! And they just destroy the house, and I'm just like, yeah, that's good. What the hell have I done to myself?
Well, it's still a nice thing.
Oh, it works out in everybody's benefit because it works out the other way as well, right? It's very much a shared thing, and yeah, it's not a bad deal,
Life is about what you can do to help others.
Well, I agree, Jen, absolutely, and holy wow, do we do that? Like, we have a real partnership thing going on. It's very odd, actually. She had a terrible relationship with a horrible human being, and I had to go over a few times and say, dude, it's time to go. And it didn't really work out that he would listen the second time, and, well, Jen, that didn't work out well for him. So, so now I've been playing a bit of a, defensive to make sure people don't come around role, and, and we've gotten to be, good buddies and stuff, but it ain't like that. And, but it works out well for everybody, it's a strange vibe, but it works for everybody. It's very cool,
I hate abusing husbands so much.
Jen, then you would just loathe this human piece of garbage, and you would applaud everything I've ever done to get in the way.
I'm in a really bad space right now because my older brother has turned into an abusive guy.
Oh no!
Yeah, he even got his ass arrested a couple of months ago and divorced.
Shit, especially once a member of your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've known him to be violent all my life, and I'm actually pretty surprised it took this long for it to come to a head. But unfortunately, his wife is strong enough to say, "That's it, I'm done. Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, at least she's getting herself out of there.
And Gary's not so far gone as that he won't accept that. He's not one of the types who's going to come back. If I can't have you, nobody can, or anything like that. But I just wish he could deal with his emotionality.
I've been through that a couple of times of helping people move out of abusive situations.
Yep.
It gets so ugly. It gets so unnecessary ugly. Why can't the one person of the situation go, yep, we're done? Why? What is the separation in the gray matter that makes you go, no, I can fix this? You just can't. Just stop. What is that?
Agree.
I don't get it. You know,
in general terms.
I don't get it. Drives me nuts.
I was in an abusive relationship myself, and in my case, it was what they call the boiled frog syndrome that, started out pretty good the first couple of years and deteriorated so gradually you don't quite notice it happening.
Okay, that's the boiled frog. I got to look into that because that's exactly somebody I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the analogy of if you try to put a frog in a pot of hot water, it'll jump out. So if you want to cook it, you put it in the cold water and you just heat the water gradually, and by the time it realizes it, it's too late.
My older brother was the kind who was verbally abusive and verbally controlling and very controlling, and he was like that all his life too, and it slowly escalated into violence. It used to be something like he would just grab her arm and just squeeze it a little tighter than he should, kind of things, and he'd think that
not good.
This, and it's like, Gary, what are you doing? You go get help. Go, goddamn it, get some therapy. I've been telling him for 20 years, go get therapy. And he just wouldn't, Now he's going to lose it all.
Wow.
It's so stupid.
Here, there's a lesson to be learned, people. You can have the worst relationship with your ex. That should never, ever, ever influence your relationship with your child. Take that to heart.
Oh, yeah, nothing gets me pissed off as bad as the people who start, trying to use the children to manipulate their partner.
Yeah. When you find yourself using the child as a weapon, you have already gone way too far.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's what I've been used for.
I am so glad that the kid that they did have, Justin, he's a miraculous kid. He realized, oh gosh, as early as like 6th grade that dad's kind of different, and I need to stay away and not to learn things that he says, and
yeah,
he broke the circle of violence.
Well, that's why of the 9 kids I helped raise, I only have any contact with 3 of them, because the other ones, their mother just fed them years of lies afterward.
That's not fair, because Purple, what that does is that takes their good vibes and feelings from the situation and devalues them. And now when they are in a situation, when they grow up and they're a little bit more adult and they go, yes, I like this person, they start self-doubting. But wait a minute, I did this before and I was told I was wrong. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
That's not helpful at all. You should never do anything to pull back a positive relationship that somebody young has with a mentor figure. Well, you should not be doing that.
And no matter how a relationship ends, if there are kids involved, you need to at least be polite socially in front of the kids. Oh. Go ahead, Randy.
I'm sorry. What was I saying? I must have been sleep talking again.
No. I said you shouldn't be interfering with a mentor moment, and you were like, whoa, hold on. And I knew where you were going because you got to know that mentor is the right person, right?
Yeah, and the way mentors teach you is telling you the story, the whole thing. You don't have to follow them or believe them. You can interrupt them, though. But the thing of it is, you should listen to what they're saying before you deny the entire bit of knowledge, because they're mentors for a reason, because they already have studied the knowledge.
Good words. Good words. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yep.
You know, you
Well
don't
said.
have to follow. Just give them the respect to listen. You know, because when you're done, you might actually take it to heart, you know?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So, we do a thing when you know, nobody's you know, we hit a heavy topic over on the shelves and we're like, holy shit, you know, that one really hit, right? We always try to go
Right.
for something a little lighter after, you know? And so let me ask you, Jen. You know, you're always all over the freak show side of the internet. Not completely or anything, but you know, we're you know, in the debunker crowd. We're always looking for stupid, right? What shocked the panties off your ass this week? What made you go, "What the fuck is this idiot talking about?" You've got to have one.
Well, I'm I don't know if I'm aghast or just dumbfounded with how the right wing can still be standing there and denying that we need to do things like mask up and watch ourselves and get vaccinated and things like that. After all the information, after all the deaths, after all the numbers that are showing that this surge is going to be worse than the very first by a long shot, that they're still standing there. And well, like today, you know, but Biden came out with his new policy, his new strategy to deal with it, you know, which of course has to morph because the virus is morphing, and there's condemning him because he's going to require mandates of all federal workers are going to have to wear masks, period. And that he's encouraging companies to put a mandate on their employees to do that because he knows he can't do that federally. So he's, you know, getting the private industries capable of it. And then you get things like, well, I mentioned this case once before. Like on Tuesday this week, there was a kid in Tennessee, as it turns out, who was at like a school board meeting or something like that, and encouraging the school board to pass mask mandates for the school children. And he told the story of how his grandmother died the day or two before COVID, and people laughed at him.
I saw that. Yeah, it's like this 15, 16-year-old boy is talking about how his grandmother died, and people in the audience are heckling him.
And it's just what has happened to us as a culture that we have become this cold, this willfully ignorant, and this interested in getting things your way,
fucked up.
Destroy other people for it.
Yeah,
it's
Do we as a people have to teach our children our bad social habits from social media? Or could we suck it up and realize we're being jerk-offs and teach our children how to act in public the way we were taught as children? Is that an honest question?
Yeah, well, there's
except for how much you were taught.
That we, the way we do some things today, as far as like disciplining children without violence and spanking and stuff, and just the more progressive way of raising kid, I think are really good. But I also can look back into my life and know that there's a lot of values I have that I know came out of the rigidity of the 50s morality, and recognize whether or not I think that's good, I can recognize and see it clearly had a difference in me. Now, what if we were able to find a way to combine that kind of result from that kind of upbringing in the 50s with the techniques that we use today, and hopefully get the kind of results
Oh,
in the 50s.
that's a good point, Jenny. That's a good one.
You know,
Because
but then-
I think
but then-
that's what we're looking at. We need to put some morality into social
Well-
media. Isn't that an easier way to say it?
Well, yeah, I think that's a simpler way to do it. But remember, this morality also included things like when you're walking down the street and if somebody raising or lowering an American flag, you have to stop, put your hand over your heart, and
that wasn't
to yourself.
But that wasn't real morality. That was trained patriotism.
Well,
morality is when somebody's getting beat up and you are somebody who could step in, you do it. Right?
Well, yeah, okay, I will certainly agree with that. There's
right?
not enough care for our fellow human being, and that's
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
less.
Orla said we don't need that either. There's a lot of problems with the social act of the 80s and 90s. No era is perfect, and there always seems to be a few groups.
That's a really good point
That
because
it's
they're
socially
always
acceptable to be biased against. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, right? I mean, back in the early 80s, late 70s, when I was like, 8, 9 years old, there was a guy named Larry Wilde, WHYLDE or something, like, funny spelling. But he was a comedic author. And he had a few books, and they were called, like, the Jewish Irish Joke Book. And so on. And literally, there would be 300 pages of jokes. Now, one could say that he was the worst in, and so on. And sure, yeah, there were some really nasty jokes in those books, but he never told them against any one specific person. He was just being funny. Does that truly make him an asshole?
Well, I think the biggest difference now is that with social media and the computer logarithms, keep pointing you to things that they think you'll like. Whereas...
Oh, yeah, I see where you're going, yeah.
Well, when we just had network TV, they had to appeal to the broader base of society.
Right.
So they had to be, relatively unbiased because they had to present both sides to have viewers. But at the same time, that meant all of the viewers got to see some of each side, instead of now most people being locked in an echo chamber that they never hear the other side of the story.
Right.
Well,
so you mean Fox versus everybody else?
I mean, what news is now as opposed to what it was when Walter Cronkite was on the air.
Exactly. There's no integrity now, is there? None.
Walter Cronkite and the entire news media system of those days operated under the fair and balanced, fair exposure. I forget the exact name of it now.
Yeah.
Where everybody had to present both sides. Legitimately present both sides.
Or if it was an opinion piece, they had to clearly indicate it was just an opinion when they started.
And it was an official FCC policy that if you're going to broadcast to the mass of people, you have to provide the opinions from the mass of people.
Yep.
And that kind of thing. And Ronald Reagan ended that.
Yep. Yeah,
and that's also about the time that you can see how things started to change, not for the better.
Yeah, Reagan deregulated the FCC in a lot of ways that, really damaged the whole process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, including corporate ownership of unlimited number of stations that a corporation can own and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that there used to be virtually every radio station was owned by somebody independently in the country.
Yeah.
And now a rich guy can go and buy every single one, and that's why there's only 4 or 6 major corporations that run all the media in the entire nation.
Yeah, and there used to
Yeah.
be regulations that like nobody could own 2 stations in the same city.
Yeah.
I remember literally this was a topic on an episode of WKRP in Cincinnati. And I also remember that this was, you know, the kind of thing that irked me to the bone when I was young, because the last thing I wanted was 5 people being in charge of the music that I was exposed to over the radio. And you know, we had some, like in Toronto and Vancouver, we had some like late night, midnight DJs that got to, you know, spin their own vinyl and whatnot. But, you know, was there 500-700 of us listening at the time? You know, it wasn't the day and age that it is today, Harmonica Man. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine what Wolfman Jack could do with his influence right now on the radio if,
totally.
God willing, someone would just let him do it?
Yeah, but do you
Too
want
bad
Wolf
he's a goner.
to be doing something like that?
Well,
We need
I
another character
want
like that.
I want to be able to identify with the DJ on a personal level and go, yeah, I like this guy, and as such, or her,
Baby,
You know.
got stacks of wax and melted sounds all designed with you in mind.
right?
Fuck
But
for
but
that.
you never know who's gonna bring you the good news song, and you have to identify and personalize with that person and go, yeah, you have my tastes, right? That is gone. I
Because-
mean,
yes,
Casey
because you have to-
Kasem.
Experiment with every different way something is played.
You know, it's not the same now. You know, like Casey Kasem killed this with the American Top 40. That's as
Yep.
far as I'm concerned. You know, it's his fault. You know,
Well,
fuck him and his shaggy Scooby Doo motherfucking voice. Fuck you.
that whole value that, you know, we have in every other capitalist nation on the planet has it too, and probably some of the non-industrialized or low industrialized quotient countries that your prominence, your popularity is measured in dollars. That everybody wants to know which movie has made the most money this weekend. No, a lot of people don't want to know that, don't care about that.
Nope.
But that's the only thing that you bring us as the way to rate a movie. That's all we know, you know. And so the indies and the small plot, you know, non-star bearing movies never get played,
Yep.
because it's all based on how much money you brought in this weekend, and that's not.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah,
what-
it's all, you know, what record did they break opening weekend?
Yeah, and we do so many things based on
Mhm.
the amount of money they bring in. That this is why we should follow this or believe in this or want this. It's nothing to do with quality or morality or what it does for people or culture or anything like this. We've become such a swamp of individualism. There's just no sense of the greater good anymore. There's no sense of us. It's only me.
Well, yeah, and that's, you know, really hits right to it with the anti-mask and the anti-vaxxers that, you know, these are people who want all the benefits of society, but they don't feel any responsibility to, you know, try and keep the people living around them from dying.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the perfect.
How do you expect to go and get a coffee in the morning if there's nobody there to serve you that fucking coffee, right?
Yeah.
Not just that, but the thoughts of everyone else outside of that transaction.
Yeah, well, you know, everybody's complaining about the restaurants being so bad and, you know, the wait times and everything. And it's like, well, yeah, because, you know, the servers are legally allowed to be paid below minimum wage. Who's going to risk their lives for that job?
No shit.
I saw this great
Yeah.
little meme that's circulating on Twitter right now. It's incredibly simple. It just has the years like 2008, 2009, 2010, listed on one column. And then each has a colon, and then $sign 7.25, with the minimum wage. And it just
I
goes
saw
down
that on Twitter. Yeah.
the whole chain, this big hanging list of all these years, and the 725 never changing. And it basically doesn't, it just, that's all it says, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes no
Yeah.
comment about it.
That minimum wage has not changed
No.
in 20 years.
That right there says so much about what's wrong with our society.
Yeah, and if minimum wage hasn't changed in 20
Yep.
years and we average a cost of living increase of like 5 or 6% per year, what does that actually mean for these people?
Jeff Bezos could honestly pay every worker he has for Amazon, what was this? It's like twice of what minimum wage was or is, out of just the increase of wealth that he had this last year.
Yep.
That he could still have his $100 billion whatever dollars, $1 trillion, and he could, and all these people's lives could be improved, but they don't. Why
Yep.
do they have to hoard so much money?
Well, and even the CEO of McDonald's came out and said that based on the volume of their sales, if they paid all of their workers $15 an hour, it would really only have to increase the price of a burger by about a nickel.
Mm-hmm. So,
Sorry, I just found somebody who has autism in the family in the live chat there, and I was like, "Wow, Amy and I are doing, our next set of shows on autism coming up."
I thought you knew about all that.
Yeah, no, I didn't. And if I did, well, me and the alcohol, every now and then it gets a little out of hand. So if I did, sorry.
you're
referring
to Golden Voice Amy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Amy Hogan, one of the greatest human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, right?
That's what I've heard.
Well, she's my favorite human being, and I think I know her thing or two. So,
Well, I am maintaining that Amy is so polite because she stole Walla Dick's apologies, and that's why he's so not Canadian.
That's awesome. Oh, no. Amy and I knew each other since before the shills. We met each other in live chats, and the odd person would call somebody a conspiratard or a flat-tard or something, and Amy and I would be like, "Oh, I hate that fucking term." And I was like, "Really? You got autism in the family?" "Yep, me too." We knew it right away, and we became really, really tight, And since then, even in real life, I don't think I spend more time with anyone except for Amy. Well, maybe Mippet,
Well, I knew that
But,
you tended to hang around a lot. I didn't really know where you got started together.
Yeah. She's just the best ever, man. Like, she's amazing, She's like, Amy never ever swore in public until the shills. And for her first year on the show, she'd be like, "Oh, poop," and things like that, right? Now, when we cover anti-vaxxers and stuff, she comes on the microphone and she's like, "You fucking son of a bitch." Fuck, it's funny. God damn, she gets mad now, But it's not my fault. I didn't do it.
Well, I don't know Amy personally, of course. I don't even know what she looks like, but just, and this is so weird to say it this way, just the nature of her voice, the genteel nature of it, her word choices, even down to how she structures a sentence, just gives this impression that she's such a wonderful, golden, sweet person. It's just amazing what a voice can do. Keep begging her to clone herself and turn him lesbian. Send one But the community has so many nice people like that. It's amazing.
Amy is one of those people. I beg her once a month to stay on the channel because she makes me look good. So,
Well,
yeah,
and
that's the
Amy
honest,
Amy is completely genuine. She gets very concerned
Oh,
about
wow.
if anybody in the community seems to be out of sorts about checking on them.
Oh, Amy has my phone number. And if I don't check in on Discord every like 24 hours or so, because she knows I got like fibromyalgia and stuff, right? Holy man. Like, she is the best friend you could ever have. That's what I'll tell you. Well,
Hey,
that's who she is.
I would like to get schmaltzy for a second, and kind of sort of change the topic.
Yeah, I think Randy's nodded off on us.
I would just like us all to take a moment and remember that tomorrow is 9/11.
Yes.
Oh wow, yeah.
And in the 20 years, we've learned a lot about ourselves, and we hurt ourselves a lot, and we've hurt other people in the world a lot. But whatever that's all about, 3,000 people died that day, and 500 of them were first responders who put their lives on the line for the rest
Well,
of
Wow.
yeah, not just that day, but a good number more died just in the cleanup effort after that.
Oh, sure. From
Yeah.
the tens of thousands, actually, they say now. But just for us all to remember that it was a horrible time, but we got it through because we pulled together. And that it's time for us to do that again.
Yeah.
Everything, not just an attack from a crazy person from outside, but
Yeah.
our own house needs some pretty serious cleaning. And it's
Yeah.
time we
And it wasn't just an American thing either. There were citizens of about 90 countries that died in that.
Yeah. I lost someone on flight 93 that day
Oh wow.
Oh.
that I knew.
Yeah, I didn't have
Oh.
any personal connection there.
And I didn't know till a couple of weeks after that happened. So it wasn't a shock for me that day, but
Wow.
I was lucky enough to have my shop at that time, and we could just turn on the TV, and we just stopped all the work for the day and just could not believe what we were seeing on TV. Well, you were all there
Wow.
too. It was just goddamn.
It was a fucked up day for me. I was in the van with the band on the road, and we stopped to get like coffee and a snack. And it was like we were in some kind of weird B sci-fi movie where the town we stopped in off the highway everybody was just completely, it was fucked up. So we pull into the gas station and everybody's standing there like zombies watching the TV above the guy at the counter. And we walk in, we're like, we got to get some food and stuff and whatnot. Hey, what's going on? The fuck are you people? Holy fuck, what the hell is going on? It was like
Yeah,
the
boy,
most.
and of course.
It fucked our shit up. We pulled the van over right away. We found the first hotel we could. We canceled 3 or 4 shows. Everybody just, went and got like potato chips and alcohol. And we just sat in front of the TV for like 3 fucking days.
One of my most favorite stories about 9/11, and again, it's one of those that you didn't hear till a long time after, was what happened in Halifax, and with all the planes that landed there.
Oh yeah,
because of the no fly situation, and how this small place in Canada just opened up its soul to take care of all these people. And never asked for a dime in return. And it speaks a great deal about the kind of place Canada is. And how much I wish our country could learn to be more like Canada. We love
but in saying that, there's a few lessons we could learn from yourselves as well. Nobody's perfect. But like, you know, there is it is very true. You know, there are a few lessons that Canada needs to learn real bad. But in that moment, there was a lot of proud Canadians because nobody gave a rat's ass about, you know, refueling bills, money or nothing. It was just park your shit right here. We got you covered. You know, that was pretty cool.
But average citizens took these people into their homes.
Oh yeah.
Because
but that is kind of the Canadian American relationship. We love to argue about you're socialist, you're almost, you know, whatever and blah blah, you know. But in the end, I mean, for the love of God, we're just a bunch of alcoholic pot smokers who love to hang out and argue about sports teams. I mean, that's really all there is, you know. You know, we've got, like, you know, Canadians and Americans, we've got to act like brothers. We really do, and we better. You know, we better. I don't care about political bullshit because, I mean, right now I'm the Canadian hanging out with some Yankees, right? You know, and if I say Yankees, fuck, I'm from the North and blah, blah, you know what I mean? But, you know, but the end result is everybody can be chill and hang out because it's all about who the people are. And as such, the politicians should be able to do what we do and just go, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. You know?
Yeah.
I just wish they all would, you know?
Well, and there used to be the idea of, you know, working together for the common good and trying to reach compromises. And now it's just all about owning the other side.
Yeah. You know what, Purple, what I would do if I was in charge? I would first and foremost make it that if your political party spoke of the other party and not your own, the commercial or the advertisement would get pulled. First and foremost, I don't care what bullshit you got to say about the other side. Tell me what you're going to do.
Yeah.
There should be no public slander or, you know, back and forth vilification of the other party allowed in political advertising. None.
Yeah, and now it's gotten to be that all we have is mudslinging. So these these people get elected without anybody having any idea what their policies are or what they plan to do.
That's right. It drives me crazy because back when I was a child, the advertisements were what they were going to do. Now it's just, you know, they would do this. They would do that. They said this. Shut up. Tell me what you're going to do, or I don't even want to hear it anymore. I'm just done, you know?
Although it's kind of funny to me that in the run-up to the, you know, Biden getting elected, the ad flyers I was getting just showed how much of a disconnect there was. Because I would get all these ad flyers saying all these things that Biden was going to do. And half the time I couldn't tell if these were being sent by the Democrats as promises or if they were being sent by the Republicans as threats because they all said the same thing.
Well, we had an election up here last go around for a House of Representatives guy. Ron Kind is his name. He's Democrat, been in office for this area for like 26 years. Popular, you know, seems like a nice guy and all. His Republican opponent, who ran against him and lost this last time, for the primaries, their whole campaign between these two Republicans, there were more in the race, but these were the two principal Republicans, was based on how mean and nasty I am compared to the other guy. It was like, how evil can I be compared to my opponent, and pick me because I'm the meanest person.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
yeah, I'm seeing that theme in a lot of races.
It's
That doesn't even seem fair.
It's just insane that's what a campaign will come down to, is who hates the most.
That should be illegal in my view. You should only be able to talk about what you yourself and your party is willing to step up and do. The debate is where they get to sink their own teeth into it and fuck up or not. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Purple, Jen, I gotta run. It's 1 a.m. and I got breakfast duty in the morning, and I can't screw that up because it's the little man's first day at kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
I can't,
Well, it's 3 a.m. our time, and we've been running for about 3 hours here, so we should probably just wrap up here for the night. Dick, you got anything you want to plug before you go?
Well, over on the Shills show, we got some cool stuff coming up on the weekend. Pub chat seems to be turning into what crazy headlines from the world have you brought in? And wow, do I have a couple. But other than that, I'm just a lazy Canadian drunk. So come and check us out. Take care, fellow babies.
Hey, when are you going to have me on the shelves?
You want to come and join us tomorrow, Jenny?
Sure.
We're going live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Give me a PM on Discord, and I'll give you the link tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Hey,
Cool.
wait, Discord. No, Twitter.
No, I can't get on Twitter right now. I can't. Yeah. Okay, so Purple will give you the link tomorrow, 30 minutes before the show. How about that?
That'd be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get the link off the Shills group on Discord and send it to you.
Cool. All right, let's do that. Okay, we did it. Yay!
Okay. Jenny, you got anything else you want to plug? Movie night, of course.
Just my leaky urinary issues. I have to plug that right up. Never mind.
Okay.
No, I'm fine. Movie night tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern or Central.
Well, and that pretty much already, covers me, except for, I guess B won't be doing another one until Monday, so. But yeah, pretty much I'll just be either following Dick or Jenny around, so. Okay.
So
thanks everybody for coming in.
We're good. We're gonna dick around. Is that what?
Yeah. Put that thing in your pants, fellow babies, or maybe just stop rubbing that, and it's time to say goodnight.
Yeah, I just have to thank my Patreon supporters: Greg Hartwick, the Lavender Lady, Robert X, Ox, Junie the Apostate, Vondrick, and X from the Utah Outcast. So, they each send me a couple bucks a month on Patreon, and that's what pays for me having the StreamYards. So with that, then, good night, everybody. We will see you all next week.
Good night.
Good night, fellow babies.
And there's the red button.